Bill, for the courage that he has standing up to Darrell Waltrip like that.
Well, here's Earnhardt. After all that hard work by Darrell Waltrip on the racetrack under green flag in the pit stop, Dale Earnhardt came out on top. Earnhardt once again leads. He's dominated this race from a leading standpoint. Waltrip runs second. That's Joe Ruttman. Joe is a lap down, and unofficially that would put him in about 14th position. We are showing 13 cars still on the lead lap, and Ruttman looks like he really made the right decisions during the last pit stop. He's running right with the leaders.
Well, he may have changed left sides on the last pit stop. In Grand National racing, on a caution flag stop, Larry, we can only change 2 tires. Joe had an unscheduled stop on the green flag. He changed rights, so he may have changed lefts on this caution flag, so that means he would have better tires than the 2 cars in front of him.
Joe Ruttman involved in just a horrendous-looking crash last night. I think in terms of the automobile that Joe Ruttman got the worst of it. There is Richmond. Richmond runs in 4th position right now. He still trails Jeff Bodine. He's been looking at nothing but white and yellow all night.
They have been racing all night long, and Richmond has been in this position all night long. He's on the outside, and this is where Darrell Waltrip made the move a moment ago to pass Jeff Bodine, but Tim Richmond could not do it.
A couple of guys with similar backgrounds. They came up through the open-wheeled super modified ranks. In the modified ranks, Richmond sprint cars, Bodine in the modifieds. And both of them have been on high-banked half-mile racetracks or very fast half-mile, 5/8 mile racetracks in their respective open-wheel divisions. So even though they're 2 of the younger drivers in terms of Grand National experience, Benny, they know how to get around these racetracks and how to get around fast.
Get around very fast. Tim Richmond, Salem, Indiana, Winchester, Indiana, he's been to those racetracks, and they are a great deal like Dayton. Sorry, like Bristol.
Yeah, like Bristol. That's okay. Dayton, Bristol, the old Fort Wayne Speedway. Some of you old-timers may remember that 5/8 mile high-bank racetrack up there. Of course, it's a shopping center now, like so many other great racing tracks are, but it was also a high-bank paved, basically half-mile racetrack in the Midwest. There is Bodine and Richmond, zeroing in on Richmond for a second, and Richmond really working hard to try and get the advantage on Bodine. Ron Bouchard, we're sorry to report, has come into the pits, and it can't be a routine pit stop. Bouchard was running in 13th position at the time, Benny.
He looks like he's got a flat tire. That's about the only reason they would be changing the right side is the tire. One of the tires is flat. He gets going, but again, we talked about the pit road. See how wet it is? He has to just very slowly go down pit road. The leaders go by. So he is 2 laps down. He lost 2 laps under that.
On a big racetrack like Talladega or Daytona, you can stop, maybe spend 15 seconds in the pits doing some work. You lose another 30 seconds, slow down and speed up, and you might get out and not lose a lap. But you stop here at Bristol, and even if you turn out just a miracle pit stop, you lose 2.
You're going to lose 2 laps. And particularly with a pit road as wet as it is, I think tonight that Bouchard was running well enough. If a pit road had been dry, he could have gotten in and got out. But as wet as it was, as carefully as he had to come in and exit, he lost 2 laps.
A couple of light-painted cars, the 7-Eleven race car of Kyle Petty, the Woods Brothers machine on the outside, and Jack Beebe's Valvoline car, Ron Bouchard on the inside, and they're running pretty equal right now. Bouchard would like to go as fast as he can here the next few laps. He's got a lot of ground to make up. That's Harry Gant right in front. There's Bill Elliott, and there's Neil Bonnet. You know, Bonnet was running in a strong 5th spot earlier in this race, but he has slipped back to 8th. He doesn't have the same velocity that he started this race with. He's not lost a lap yet, but he doesn't look nearly as strong as he did, say, maybe even 100, well, 80 laps ago. We have passed the 100-lap point, by the way, 107 laps complete.
It's amazing. We have completed 108 laps in this race so far, and it seems like we just started a few minutes ago.
Oh, it really has. Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip. Remember, there's the guy, Earnhardt, who won the last time here. When the power steering went out, he wrestled the car around this racetrack more than 250 laps, more than 125 miles, and he still won the race.
It was an amazing feat that day, driving that car without the power steering. Darrell Waltrip has moved up the racetrack. He has caught Earnhardt. When they threw the green flag, Earnhardt moved out for a 5 or 6 car length advantage, but he has caught Earnhardt. He's moved up on the racetrack. He's trying to figure out right now how he's going to get by. And he tries him down in turn 1, but Earnhardt shuts him off. He is trying everything he can do to get by Earnhardt. Maybe Jack Arute has some ideas. Jackie?
Benny, here's one of the ideas that we stumbled across inspecting tires after they came off of Darrell Waltrip's car. You see the little touch here in the screen? Well, a tire has begun to blister on Darrell's car on the right rear. This was the tire that they exchanged. Now, they're concerned about this because they think maybe the sealer on the racetrack is making these tires blister. We've seen that all weekend. A lot of the crews have been over to inspect this tire and try and figure out what they're going to do during the next stop to ensure they don't have this problem.
Well, we hope you are enjoying live prime-time Grand National Stock Car Racing for the first time ever here on ESPN. Certainly stay with us because this racetrack is often full of surprises. Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, two of the guys that, yeah, we would have expected to be among the leaders when this race started. Maybe they're dominating just a little more than what we anticipated. By the way, Joe Ruttman, just an update on him. He continues to run right behind, right in the shadows of those two guys, but we have been told now that he is 3 laps down. And speaking of the shadows, we hope you are enjoying this broadcast. Special lights have been brought in, especially for the purpose of this show, and it's bringing you some bright daytime-like pictures here at the half mile of the Bristol International Raceway. We'll be back with the remaining 390-plus laps of the Busch 500 here at the Bristol International Raceway, and Dale Earnhardt dominates this race.
To fully understand how Goodyear Eagle high-performance tires alter the driving experience, we urge you to read the Special Operator's Manual before you drive. The information it contains may contribute significantly to the performance of the properly equipped car. Goodyear Eagles. The tires engineered for cars with the proper qualifications.
This Bud's for everyone who puts the roads on the map.
This Bud's for you. For all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do. This Bud's for you.
CFA football is back on ESPN, live and exclusive Saturday nights with television's best college gridiron schedule. We'll showcase the country's top teams and Heisman Trophy hopefuls with 17 action-packed matchups only on your Total Sports Network. The College Football Association brand captures that special fall spirit that electrifies campuses across the country. The CFA, Saturday nights, live and exclusive on the #1 innovator in sports broadcasting, ESPN.
The race for the lead, and hey, I've never seen one closer than this.
They have been like this for 2 or 3 laps. I just kept hoping they would stay this way so the viewers could see it when we came back off break. And they still are side by side. Who led that lap, Larry?
I don't know. I think
Too
it was
close
the
to
tie.
call.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, this is really a classic confrontation. See Earnhardt just oozing down off the banks, trying to squeeze Waltrip out of room. He hopes by moving him down on the inside of the racetrack that Waltrip has to do exactly what he just did and get out of the throttle and tuck him behind. It's been an excellent study in professional race driving.
These two fellows have really put on a show for these fans tonight. And the people in the grandstands have been on their feet cheering for the last 10 laps. These guys are really going at it.
Boy, they really are.
They're going to try it again.
Just to update you briefly on the weather, no indications how we, of course, are inside here in a glass-enclosed booth, so we can't tell exactly how the clouds are rolling in, but it seems to be just a little more clear. I see the mountains, and there goes, yeah, whatever his name is, Waltrip.
The 11 car, Darrell Waltrip.
Yeah, the 11 car to the inside of Earnhardt. It looks like it's just a little clearer than it was when this race started. He may get away with this one, Benny. Well,
no. Earnhardt leads the lap.
Dale Earnhardt not running as fast as Darrell Waltrip. That's obvious. If he was running as fast as Darrell, he'd be pulling away, but he's been able to hold back Darrell Waltrip because he's been running perfect circles, as they say in the racing trade.
Now, if he can just keep... Ooh, Darrell gets a little sideways, which I thought he had him, but he got it just a little bit sideways. Dale pulls up alongside of him, and Earnhardt using all that racetrack, keeping Darrell on the inside, moving him down as much as he can, taking away all the racetrack away from Darrell.
Hey, this may look easy to you at home, but believe me, this is precision work. You'll never see anything like this at any Daredevil show. This is tremendous.
This is a great, great race. They can't do that. I've been here. That's impossible to do that.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, but they're doing it lap after lap.
And the interesting thing is, it's been very clean racing. You know, in some forms of racing, the contact in the sport is part of it. And to a certain degree on a short racetrack, the Grand National drivers will tolerate it. But these guys have been going at it perfectly, lap after lap, without banging into each other.
And Darrell tried again, that time coming off turn 2. Even though those slow cars were there, he felt like Earnhardt maybe get behind the slow cars would get held up for just a moment, but they didn't. You know, Jackie Root talked a moment ago about the tire that was blistered on Darrell's car. Running high on the racetrack is going to cause the tire to blister. So Earnhardt may have an advantage in the long term staying on the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, there's Ricky Rudd and Jeff Bodine. They are 4th and 5th, and just momentarily you caught a glimpse. There is at the bottom of the screen the number 22, the red and white car of Bobby Allison. He is still running fast. Now there's Bobby. He is quietly.
Darrell
Waltrip has moved to the inside. They
got together coming off the second corner. Got together very, very good. But but Waltrip has the lead.
And now we'll see if we're right, Benny. Darrell has been running faster than Dale, and he might run off and hide. Started to tell you a little bit about Allison. Just an update as we watch the first 2 cars. Allison has quietly moved into 4th position, and he's only about a straightaway behind those 2 guys. There's Joe Ruttman at the top of the screen. Joe's been turning in a great performance the last 50 or 60 laps, but unfortunately, he is 3 laps in arrears.
You know, we see that Darrell Waltrip, as soon as he got by Dale Earnhardt, moved down on the racetrack, and he seemed to have lost some of the edge. He's not pulling away from Dale Earnhardt like we thought he would. He's not trying to pull away. Jackie Root a moment ago mentioned that blister tire. Now Darrell Waltrip has the lead. He's trying to keep the tires on the car. He's trying to run on the bottom of the racetrack and keep the tires so they won't blister.
Well, how you do that is, as Benny says, you move down to the bottom of the racetrack and you can run the tires a little cooler. The centrifugal force doesn't tug away at the outer skin of the tire like it does when you're up on the banks.
Exactly right.
There's Darrell Waltrip continuing to hold that advantage on Earnhardt. And here's what it looked like just a couple of laps ago.
In turn 1, Dale Earnhardt goes up the racetrack, and look, Darrell right on the bottom of the racetrack, right on the white line.
Well, he saw it, Benny. You could see him punch that accelerator right in the middle of the corner. He said, oh, Earnhardt has slipped up. Here's my chance.
And he just moves up the racetrack because he cannot see Earnhardt. And they rub tires. That's right. Darrell Waltrip's right rear and Dale Earnhardt's left rear tires made contact.
Waltrip continues to lead. 135 laps are complete. Bobby Allison continues to move a little closer toward the top. Waltrip has not run away and hid from Earnhardt. You can see he's moved from 10th to 1st. Joe Ruttman runs competitively, laps down. Tim Richmond runs 3rd, but here comes Bobby Allison. They're going to be doing a little bit of a tussle in the next couple of laps. It's not there yet. They'll go at it for 3rd spot.
Darrell Waltrip, as I keep talking about, but I think it bears repeating, he does not want to drive away. He simply wants to keep those tires on the car. He don't want to blister any more tires tonight.
Okay, quick rundown. After 137 laps now complete, 12 cars in the lead lap by last names only. Waltrip, Earnhardt, Richmond, Allison, Rudd, Bodine, Labonte, Bonnet, Elliott, Richard Petty, Kyle Petty, and Lake Speed. Well, there is the 3rd running car of Tim Richmond, and there is the 4th running car of Bobby Allison. We told you that we anticipated that in the next 4 or 5 laps, but I guess things happen so quick here, maybe there'll be the next 15 laps.
But I think he definitely is going to catch him. There is no doubt that Bobby Allison is clearly one of the faster cars on the racetrack.
And there's Ricky Rudd. He runs in 5th position. This is probably the best performance for Rudd and Allison in quite some time. It's a good race for them because both of them, they weren't exactly down, but they really needed to have a good race.
These are 2 guys that haven't won a race this year. Oh, Lake Speed and Buddy Baker got together on turn 4. I thought that they had spun, but they didn't.
Well, there is Jeff Bodine.
He's in 6th place right now, and I felt like that Bodine, and I still think the night is very, very young. I think the 5 car is still one of the cars to beat tonight, Larry.
Well, they've had a lot of disappointments this year. You see his best 85 finishes, 2nd, 3rd, a couple of 4ths. They've led a lot of races. They have been the kingpin a number of times, and little nagging things have taken them out of races. He thought when the season began he had a real clean shot at the points championship. That may have gone away, but he has the potential to be as good as any race driver out there, any team out there.
He certainly does. And there's last year's champion, Terry Labonte. And that just goes to show you how fast things turn around in Winston Cup Grand National Racing. Last year's champion, this year 1 victory, 2 pole positions, but it's not the year that they envisioned in January.
Yeah, Terry has described this season as, quote, miserable, end quote. It's not been quite that bad, but it's certainly not been like 1984.
Exactly. And there is Neil Bonnet. 2 victories so far this year. And with Bill Elliott winning 9 of 18 races, he and Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott are the only multiple winners on the circuit. With the last 2 or 3 months, the 12 car's been floundering, trying to find the combination.
There have been only 6 winners all year on the Grand National Trail. Elliott has won 9. That's about 50%. There's the guy who's won half the races so far on the trail in 1985. He's in 9th position right now. Bonnet, as Benny mentioned, has won 2. Earnhardt has won 2. There's a look at Bill Elliott. The single winners are Darrell Waltrip, Harry Gant, and Terry Labonte. Only 6, and that in itself is really incredible.
It really is. At this point in the race, last year we had about 10 winners at this stage of the season.
Only 6 guys have won races, and only 5 guys, only 5 drivers all year have reigned as the top qualifier after a Grand National qualifying.
Bill Elliott has just taken away all the parity this year. There's Kyle Petty, and I noticed a moment ago he drove by Daddy. And now,
yeah, Kyle may be watching the leaders coming up. They are in jeopardy right now of going a lap down. The leaders are, see if I can find them for you on the racetrack. Oh, they're maybe a second or so behind. Kyle is in 10th position right now, and Richard is in 11th, and the leaders are rapidly coming up. There is the King, looking like he has since 1958, Benny. He hasn't changed at all.
I was looking at some things. He ran in the first race. This is the 25th anniversary of this speedway, and Richard Petty drove in the first one in 1961.
And he is the only guy running this race tonight who was in that race.
No, Buddy Baker.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Buddy Baker as well.
Forgot about Buddy. Now, nobody has run all of them, but those 2 guys were in the inaugural about 25 years ago. Darrell Waltrip continues to lead this race with 150 laps now completed, with 500 laps scheduled for this event. Dale Earnhardt runs in 2nd.
Owning that new Chevrolet just got closer, announcing low 7.7% financing on many of Chevy's most popular new 1985 cars and trucks. 7.7 on Cavalier, on the exciting Chevy Camaro, on Celebrity, Chevy Caprice, Chevette, full-size pickups, cargo vans, Astro, and full-size. But hurry, this is a limited-time offer. 7.7% financing. Don't miss out. Live today's Chevrolet at your Chevy dealers now.
Wherever you are in America, there's one car battery the weather finds tough to beat. One car battery that outsells any other. Right now, during Sears Die Hard Anniversary Sale, you can get a new Die Hard battery for just $54.99 and join the millions who put their confidence in Die Hard, America's best-selling replacement battery.
There's more for your life at Sears.
For every man who wears Brute deodorant, there's a woman who will always be glad that he did. Because a man who wears Brute deodorant is nice to be close to. And nobody knows that better than a woman. Only Brute deodorant gives you long-lasting protection with the great smell of Brute.
Hello.
Brute. It smells like a man.
At center, basketball's premier. You know, there are more and more places today where you can't smoke, like here at the game. But when I want tobacco pleasure, I still make out like a bandit with beads. Skull Bandits. Skull Bandits is tobacco in a neat little pouch. You don't chew it. Just put one between your cheek and gum and enjoy the refreshing taste wherever you are. I like the wintergreen. My buddy goes for mint. So when you can't smoke, you can still make out like a bandit with Skull Bandits. The little pouch of tobacco pleasure.
I guess if you have really good eyesight, you can see damage on the number 77 car. We are under caution flag. Greg Sachs scraped the wall going down the backstretch. All the leaders, by the way, are coming. You see Bonnet going by. Sachs scraped the wall. He came to a stop. There's Darrell Waltrip on the outside between turns 3 and 4. Too much traffic. He couldn't come down. Had to throw the caution flag. But this was an opportunity for everybody to come in here on lap 56.
And Darrell Waltrip lost the race in the pits one more time. Dale Earnhardt's crew, again, the Wrangler crew beat Darrell's crew. Dale is back in the lead, and this time Dale Earnhardt changed left side tires. Darrell Waltrip changed right side tires. Who made the right decision?
Well, only time will tell. By the way, lap 156, not just 56. There's Waltrip. You can see those white goggles, a trademark of Darrell. Terry Labonte in the pits, cruising around the racetrack. caution flag, allowing everybody to kind of regroup. It was, again, a forced caution flag for a minor incident involving Greg Sachs, but he did lose at least one, maybe as many as 2 laps. There have been a total of 3 caution flags. They had accumulated for 16 laps prior to this, and there have been 6 lead changes among 3 drivers. And that's a small number for a Grand National race here at Bristol.
There was something wrong on that 44 car. They was very, very long time up on that right rear. Mike Alexander has lost the left rear tire on his car. It's fallen off. It's going down the back straightaway. You can see there comes the tire down the back straightaway, minus the car. And we saw the car minus the wheel.
That's one way of putting it. Well, we were about 2 laps from going back to green, but this will certainly slow things down as that wheel aimlessly wanders down the backstretch. What happens in a case like that? Somebody tries to work too quickly during a pit stop, and either all or maybe none, no, I don't think that's possible, of the lugs get on.
No, it's possible, because I left the racetrack at Nashville one time with no lug nuts on the car, and I made it for a half a lap before it fell off.
Now, this is the guy whose shop is across the street, the 27-year-old. This is the Sadler race car. The only guy who drove on the highway, and by the way, I understand they installed temporary lights and brakes and license plates so that all the law enforcement authorities were okay on it. He's the only guy who drove here to the race. Everybody else, of course, got carried in big fancy haulers. 158 laps are complete. Earnhardt and Elliott, but there are still a lot of other top competitors who may be lying in wait, just waiting in the bushes.
Indianapolis, where the gladiators of the automotive world do battle, where one competitor has dominated the Indy 500. It is a tire born of advanced design and innovative technology, the only tire to qualify. For the past 10 years, the only tire on every car in the Indy 500.
Just hear the stock cars rolling down that high bank track. Better keep your eye on number 5, cause he ain't looking back. That's Levi Garrett coming through. Taste that flavor coming through for you. Time after time, the quality comes through. That's why Levi Garrett is the brand I'm proud to choose. Levi Garrett.
If you choose your tools as carefully as you use them, choose Master Mechanic tools from True Value hardware stores. Master Mechanic tools are made from superior materials to give you the performance and long life you would expect from a professional quality tool. True Value hardware stores are so confident of this quality that they will replace any Master Mechanic tool that fails to perform as expected. And that means any tool from the wide line of Master Mechanic tools sold exclusively by participating True Value hardware stores.
Every morning, more working men and women put on Dickies work clothes than any other work set in America. There's one good reason. Dickies fabric just plain outwears and outwashes every other brand. When you want hard-working performance, what you need is horsepower. Dickies work clothes, made with Celanese Fortrell polyester.
Next Saturday kicks off one of my favorite times of the year, college football action for 1985. Next Saturday, a live broadcast of Purdue versus Pittsburgh. Now, Purdue's offensive attack, of course, is powered by a pretty outstanding quarterback, John Congemi, who is the 5th leading passer in Pitt history. And he's running back Chuck Scales. Now, can anybody unseat BYU in 1985? Well, it still remains to be seen, but college football, one of the excitements of every year in America. Terry Labonte has slowed on the racetrack, Benny.
He's been slowing down for 4 or 5 laps, and there's been some smoke coming out the left exhaust pipe. But it looks like the thing has finally given up and refuses to run anymore.
Well, he was running in 11th position, and I don't know, maybe miserable is a good adjective after all. Terry Labonte, the defending Busch 500 winner, or rather defending champion.
And he's going behind the wall. And anytime those cars get back in the darkness where you can't see them, there is a serious problem. Jackie Root, I think, may be down there. Jackie, are you?
Benny, what we're doing is following up on your question as to why Junior Johnson may have elected to change right side tires again. He had no choice. Look at the splice on this tire. This is off the right front. It was beginning to come apart. They're very upset about the fact that they got a defective tire, but more so because they wanted to change the left tires.
Well, despite all those tire irregularities, Waltrip has been turning in an outstanding performance. I got to tell you, Benny, after seeing that tire, I'm even more impressed.
So am I. But the thing is Darrell Waltrip, in going to the front, has been punishing his tires. As Jackie has shown us his tires, he has been punching those tires. He simply now is going to have to back off a little bit, let Dale Earnhardt go on, and take it easy on those tires, because he's still, right now, Darrell Waltrip needs to pit on the green flag. They need to run 150 laps and pit on the green so he can change 4 tires.
Okay, 10 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Petty is the 10th one. The number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt is the first one. It's Earnhardt, Waltrip, Richmond. Bobby Allison has ascended to 4th. Jeff Bodine, the number 12 car of Neil Bonnet, Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Richard Petty, and Kyle Petty. Both of the Petty people avoided getting lapped. Well, Earnhardt has really had his hands full tonight with Mr. Waltrip. The two of them are two of the most experienced competitors in Grand National racing, but Earnhardt talked about how you are good here at Bristol.
Well, you got to be ready all the time here. It's such a close, tight-knit racetrack. You race close, and it's a high bank and everything. You got to stay ready all the time.
Dale Earnhardt continues to orbit around the high bank .533 mile oval here in Bristol, Tennessee. It's a beautiful setting. We are nestled among mountains and foothills in northern Tennessee, just north of the Virginia, or rather south of the Virginia state line. It's a really pretty part of the country to be in, Benny.
As a matter of fact, Bristol is a twin city. It is both in Tennessee and Virginia. The state line is Main Street. Darrell Waltrip is coming back. He has gained back up on Earnhardt. I thought that Earnhardt being able to change lefts and Darrell not, that Dale Earnhardt would have a tremendous advantage. But Earnhardt is coming. Darrell Waltrip has moved back up on the bumper, and he's making a challenge for the lead again.
Well, Main Street, USA, for tonight at least, is this racetrack. And Darrell Waltrip is proving, I think, that if you are an outstanding race driver, you can compensate for a lot of other minor, nagging little problems that might otherwise keep you back into 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th.
And Darrell Waltrip is really trying some different lines. When I see him low on the racetrack, I see him high on the racetrack. He's trying to find out where his car will run, where he can keep up and keep the tires on the car. But I don't think that high is the place that he wants to be. I think he's going to simply get the tires too hot. And the tires are, Jeff Bodine is spun up in turn 3 and 4.
Lots of people right behind him, everybody darting to the high side, the low side, both sides, and Bodine, as you can see, he's got damage to the right rear quarter panel of that race car.
He has blown a right rear tire, and it has just simply torn the right rear quarter panel up.
Oh, a tough break. Once again, the Levi Garrett machine, through no fault of their own, seemingly is in trouble. Now, Bodine limps into the pit area. Pieces fly off the race car. You can see the right rear tire relieving itself from the rim as he comes to a stop. The leaders go by. Bodine goes down at least 1, maybe 2 laps. Jeff Bodine, who seemingly was cruising right where they had planned a pre-race strategy, running in 4th, is now out of it. Jeff
Bodine dejectedly has brought his car into the pits, and they're making adjustments on the right side, as you can see, changing the tires. But they're also trying to pry off the sheet metal on the left side as well. He streaks by us, and the tire on the back has just torn all the pieces when it exploded.
Well, all the leaders have come into the pits. There's Earnhardt. Let's see if he can get service like he has the last couple times and get out before Waltrip comes back. This may be an opportunity for Bodine to get at least 1 lap back. Again, unofficially, we anticipate that he lost 2. No, Earnhardt is coming out. Bodine lost 1 lap. Earnhardt's coming out. Waltrip's coming out. They're side by side. They almost scrape, and Earnhardt, or rather Waltrip, just cannot get a bite.
No, he can't. He's on the bottom of the racetrack where it's wet, and Earnhardt was out a little bit, and it was dry there. He was able to, and guess who's leading, or is going to be leading the race when this thing starts back? Bobby Allison. Because he is pitted on the back. Earnhardt slowed the field down when the caution came out. Bobby Allison went in the pits.
Jeff Bodine has come back in the pits for a second time. There is the leader, Bobby Allison. Now, Bobby Allison started 16th. He is pitted on the backstretch. He ran comfortably in 9th, 10th, and 11th for the first 100 laps. Then he really became to come on. He really started to come on, rather. He moved up to 4th, and now he comes out of the pits in 1st spot. Jack Arute is with a man who's had some disappointments here tonight, Terry Labonte.
And dejected would be an understatement. Terry, this has just not been your year after a pretty decent start.
I know it. I don't really know what happened. I think it burned a piston or something. The thing ran pretty good at the start, and then it started vibrating and started running a little hot. Finally, I guess it just burnt the piston.
While you were out there, you had a good chance to look at the rest of the competition. It's been a torrid battle up front between Earnhardt and Waltrip. Who do you think has got the advantage right now?
I don't really know. It's hard to tell. You know, both of them are running awful strong. I'll tell you one that's running strong is Bobby Allison. He looks like his car is really working good. I'm sure he'll be one to contend with.
We were looking at tires, making a survey off and on throughout the pit stops here. Looks like some tires, and it's going to be another story typical of Bristol, are blistering on the right rear. Is that normal for here?
No, not really. But it looks like that's happened this time, though.
Well, that's the story from the pits from the Piedmont Airlines driver, Terry Labonte.
Bodine continues to dart in and out of the pits, in and out. Bobby Allison is the leader. Earnhardt has led the most laps by far in this race. He's led 4 different times, one time for 39 laps, another time for 75. He'll be one to contend with when we go back to green.
Look how water can destroy unprotected wood, but not if it's protected with Thompson's Water Seal. Use Thompson's Water Seal waterproofer on dozens of surfaces. Brush on Thompson's for an invisible barrier that helps prevent water from entering and damaging brick, wood, and concrete. Your house isn't really protected until it's protected with Thompson's Water Seal. Many stores now have special values on Thompson's Water Seal.
If you subscribe to the American Dream, you should subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Every business day, the Journal helps your American dream come true with complete coverage of your business, your money, and much more. Call toll-free 800-554-9000 and get 6 months of the Journal for $56. That's $7.50 off the cover price. 6 months, just $56. Call 800-554-9000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Perfect timing. The green flag has just dropped, and there is the new leader, Bobby Allison, leading for the first time. Bodine comes back into the pits as the green flag drops, and this will be a disadvantage for Jeff. And Allison drops to the bottom of the racetrack. What happened?
He has something wrong. It looks like I don't know if he has a flat tire. Look, the car is sparking. He must have a right rear tire flat.
He's going very slow. He's bottoming out very severely, and Allison looks like he's going to have to come in. He's going real slow on the racetrack.
And he's going to the pits.
A tough break for Bobby Allison after a tremendous run from the middle of the pack. Jack Arute is down in the pits. Jack.
Well, the signal is indeed a flat tire on the right side. They go to work. Wayne Bumgarner, the crew chief, is on top of the wall, directing, saying, put in the fuel and change those tires. A tough break for Bobby Allison, a privateer entry here tonight, and this is going to be costly as the leaders go by him and put him a lap down. They're having some trouble on the right front. They drop some Jack, and he's away.
Well, that's on the back stretch. He's exiting the pits as you enter turn number 3 on the bottom of the racetrack, and Allison is a lap down. Here come the leaders coming around. They've got the momentum. Allison is in the water at the bottom of the racetrack, working his way up to the top side of the racetrack. He gets by, he gets down the front stretch. Leaders now coming out of turn number 4, as you can see them. Waltrip has taken advantage of all this confusion, moved back into the lead. Allison is a lap and 3/4 down.
And Darrell Waltrip is moving away from Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt just does not seem to have the handle. That time, the race is for second because Tim Richmond seems to have the handle. That time on the exchange of pit stops, Darrell Waltrip got to change his left sides. Dale Earnhardt changed the rights. And right now, that was his tire combination, his sizing is probably off. Jeff Bodine, meanwhile, came back in the pits when they threw the green flag to do something. He's back in the pits again, having some serious problems trying to get the right rear quarter fixed on that car.
He really is, Vinny. Tim Richmond, by the way, in that red number 27, the old Milwaukee car there, he has not won yet in 1985. He runs in 3rd place. There's a team that really expected to win 3, maybe 4 races this year. They won one time in 1984, one of the 30 races, but in the 18 races run so far, Richmond has not won yet. His best finish, as a matter of fact, is 4th, and that was at the Michigan 400 about a month and a half ago. Tim Richmond in car number 27. The 5th running car is somewhat of a surprise. Guess what? It's that STP orange and Petty blue car.
And he started, I'm trying to find it so far down on the list. Where did he start tonight? 24th, and he's up to 5th place.
Ron Bouchard is right behind him, but remember, Ron had a unexpected pit stop, and he lost a number of laps in the pit, so he is not on the same pace with the leaders. There's Neil Bonnet. Told you earlier that he had slowed down, but he's been able to maintain the lead lap, and that's the name of the game.
Yes, he's in 4th spot. And, you know, if he can just keep it there and the caution flags drop and he gets a good pit stop and gets the car adjusted that last 100 laps, who knows? He can win this race.
If you stay on the lead lap, as Benny Parsons mentioned, until the very latter stages of this race, all kinds of miracles can occur during the last pit stop.
Well, sure they can. You can get just an excellent tire combination. There's a race for 2nd place. Dale Earnhardt and Tim Richmond. A while ago, Tim Richmond was right on the bumper of Dale Earnhardt. He has dropped back 2 or 3 car lengths and looks like he's getting the car just a little side, but yeah, he's smoking the tires as he goes through the corner.
Richmond recently has been very impressive, running all different types of race cars and different types of racetracks. He's won a late model race on dirt. There's Earnhardt, the leader, or rather 2nd place. Waltrip is the leader. There's Richmond in 3rd. He's won a late model race on dirt. He's won a modified race, open wheel style, on a half-mile paved racetrack. He's done, well, reasonably well, certainly brave in a destruction derby. But Tim Richmond has shown that he is one of the most versatile drivers truly in all of America.
He really is. And here's Bodine back in the pits, and he just simply keeps coming back in and changing right side tires. Evidently, there is metal rubbing the tires and cutting them down or something. I don't know what his problem would be, but this is the 5th or 6th stop that he's made.
Well, the first win of 1985 is not going to come here tonight. He had a 2nd at Richmond earlier this year, a 3rd at Martinsville. They had hoped that they would do well here tonight, but it's not to be.
Down here in the Jeff Bodine pit, and we're taking a look at the right rear quarter area. Inside, where you bring the sheet metal around, that's what's causing the problems. It's cutting down, and it looks as if it may have also done some terminal damage to the rear suspension in the rear end area. Harry Hyde has been in radio contact. He's checking out the tires and the wheels specifically to see where the rubbing is on the inside part of that tire. That's where the problem is, and that's why they continue to cut down tires. So they're going to have to put the car up on some jack stands and do some extensive repairs and modifications in the interior wheel well, gentlemen.
Benny, let me eat just a little bit of crow. I told you and told our producer Neil Goldberg during the last series of pit stops and the last yellow flag that 43 was in 5th, but that's just temporary. As soon as we go back to green, he's going to drop back. It's not happening at all. Richard Petty is coming on.
He's moving forward. He's trying Neil Bonnet for 4th spot. And Ron Bouchard. And let's talk about Ron Bouchard, because there's a guy who we haven't talked a great deal about who really runs this racetrack very well. And I don't think he's accustomed to this type of racetrack. It's just that he must have fell in love with it when he started running Grand National cars. Since he started here, he has always been a car to contend with.
And he's done well in the late model sportsman races. Again, bears worth repeating because it was so spectacular what happened last night. In a little V6, I call it a little because he's running against the V8s. He was really out front fast in the late model sportsman race last night. I think it would have been a force all night long up the front, but he had that tragic incident on the front stretch.
Exactly right. I tell you what, I think Neil Bonnet's holding Richard Petty up. And, you know, I really felt for Richards. Qualifying 24th, I said he doesn't have a chance, but that shows you what I know, right?
Well, I guess that's why Grand National Stock Car Racing, even though you have a guy who wins 50% of the races like Elliott, continues to be intriguing because you never know exactly what to expect. You can go to race after race in the trail. You can go to Talladega and say, this is going to be a cakewalk for Bill Elliott. But it's not just pre-race preparation. It's not just driver talent. There's a lot of luck that goes involved in racing, and I think it's part of the real attraction of automobile racing in America.
Well, that's what keeps bringing the drivers back, because if they run 5th tonight, they're going to say at Darlington, if I just don't have those bad brakes, I can win that Southern 500.
You betcha. Well, the average speed of this race has been held down to less than 90 miles an hour. There is the leader, Darrell Waltrip. After 200 laps, the average speed was 101 miles per hour, but there was a caution flag which brought everything down to below 90 miles an hour. There you see it, 89.663 miles per hour average speed up to now. But they are going as much as 130, maybe 140 miles per hour in the straightaways, 110 miles per hour on 36-degree bank corners. It's exciting.
Hi, this is Jerry Lewis for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And these are some of my kids visiting the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales. This year, once again, Anheuser-Busch is pledging over $2 million to muscular dystrophy. So look for these displays wherever you buy Bud and Bud Light. It's your chance to join the fight against muscular dystrophy. And thank you from all of my kids.
You know, there are more and more places today where you can't smoke. Like here on the job. But when I want tobacco pleasure, I still make out like a bandit. With these, Skoal Bandits. Skoal Bandits is tobacco in a neat little pouch. You don't chew it. You just put one between your cheek and gum and enjoy the refreshing taste wherever you are. My choice is wintergreen. The mint goes over big, too. But when you can't smoke, you can still make out like a bandit with Skoal Bandits. The little pouch of tobacco pleasure.
Sunday, ESPN's Up with the Sun for live Formula One auto racing. The Dutch Grand Prix is attracting all the best international drivers as the race for the World Driving Championship heats up. We're your best source for Grand Prix racing live from the Netherlands, Sunday.
Tuesday, dirt bikes packed with power set the pace in Pasadena. It's the Fram Autolite Rose Bowl Supercross 125cc class. Tuesday.
Normally, races at the Bristol International Raceway are not an eternity, but that's what Greg Sachs is undergoing tonight, Benny. This is the third time he's been the reason for a caution flag.
I tell you what, something's telling him something. I mean, you know, there's got to be telling him something. He's just might as well quit because you're right. For the third time tonight, the 77 car has caused a caution flag.
A lot of pit stops going on here. We're still relatively early in the race. About 200 of the 500 laps are completed. The leaders are using this opportunity to come in at almost every chance they get to make those little minor adjustments. Even Jeff Bodine is coming in. I guess he's lost so many laps, they figure, why not? There's Darrell Waltrip once again. They're doing some work. Now here's the drag race out of the pits. Waltrip on the outside, or the high side of your screen. Dale Earnhardt on the bottom side. There you see him. Looks like Waltrip's going to get the advantage. Earnhardt tries the high side. Bonnet looks like he may come out of this with the lead. There's Bonnet. There's Richmond. That's the race for the lead under the caution flag. They fall in the line, and it's going to be Neil Bonnet for the first time tonight.
Yes, Neil Bonnet has the lead. What a great pit stop Tim Brewer's crew put on that time.
He sure did. Now, here's what happened with Greg Sachs just a few moments ago. Sachs comes off of turn number 4. Remember, he had problem touching the wall a little earlier in this race. Now, watch for a red and white car darting out of the groove and down to the inside there. He touches the wall.
It looks like he really did touch the wall. He hit it very, very hard. It looks like that something broke on the car because it just simply went too fast towards the wall. And I think that he would be able to jerk it away if he had gotten too high. I would think something broke in the right front of that car.
Well, without a doubt, Richard Petty is probably the most revered name in the history of stock car racing, and it might be very tough for any individual to duplicate that feat. Although you never know, Waltrip might come on. But Richard Petty also is in the position where a lot of people really respect his opinions. And with that in mind, here's an STP pit stop. This is another STP pit stop. I'm Larry Newber. You know, Richard Petty has seen more Grand National stock car races, let alone driven them, than anybody else. And Richard, what are some of the things to really watch for if you're home viewing, for instance, in a stock car race?
Well, naturally, you know, you watching at home on TV, or if you just, you know, there in person, you want to watch the leader. That's the main thing that you come to see, the leader. But the race is not always in the first or second place. A lot of times you run a lot harder for a third or fourth position, or fifth or sixth or eighth or 10th than you ever do really leading the race. Another good thing to watch, I think, is the pit crew. The pit crew is so important in making pit stops. No matter how quick you run around the racetrack, if you don't, when you stop, if you don't get back out there quick, then you've lost all the advantage you've gained on the track. So when I go and watch and stuff, I like to watch the pits because, you know, you pick out a gas man or a jack man and just say, okay, now what's he going to do in these situations? And if everything goes right, you watch him, you see him talking to the crew before they make a pit stop, you see him jump across the wall, do his job, and then when it's all over with, everybody is either slapping each other on the back because they had a good pit stop, or they're cussing each other out because somebody messed up.
Richard, most people just kind of watch superficially who's in first, who's in second, but if you look a little deeper, you can see how that car is getting around the corners, whether or not smoke is coming from the tires. You can really tell a lot more about its performance, can't you?
Well, a lot of times you can see how good a car handles, like you say. Just because a man's leading is no sign he's the quickest car. A good trained eye can sit up and watch the race maybe 8 or 10 laps and tell you the quickest car on the racetrack at that particular time without having a stopwatch or anything. Just watch how smooth the man does the job. you know, you start a race and a man's really having to fight a car and he's got 500 miles to go, then you just sort of discount him because you know he's not going to make it the full 500 miles. Him and the car one's going to break. And so you get somebody that's third or fourth that's running real smooth, you say, now this is the man to watch in the race.
Well, apparently Richard Petty has watched maybe better than anybody else because he's won more times than anyone else. This has been another STP Pit Stop. I'm Larry Newber.
Racing engines run hot. STP oil treatment fights the effects of heat in racing cars. Your car runs hot, too. In everyday driving, heat weakens your oil's vital protective properties. That's motor oil breakdown. STP fights motor oil breakdown. STP strengthens your oil, putting extra lubricants and anti-wear agents to work just where they're needed. Whenever you change or add oil, get STP oil treatment and fight motor oil breakdown.
Every Ferrari 308 leaving Italy for America leaves on Goodyear radial tires and only Goodyear radial tires. Why? Because Mr. Ferrari wants it that way.
Just hear the stock cars rolling down that high bank track. Better keep your eye on number 5, cause he ain't looking back. That's Levi Garrett coming through. Taste that flavor coming through for you. Time after time, the quality comes through. That's why Levi Garrett is the brand I'm proud to choose. Levi Garrett.
This buzz for everyone in the spotlight before the show begins.
This buzz for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So here's to you. Showtime, the king of beer.
Hey, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Hey, man, nice job.
This buzz for you.
In 1914, Isuzu test drove the first car in Japan. And from that shattering experience has come one of the world's toughest trucks.
Tomorrow, watch headlines being made on ESPN. We'll start with live championship match coverage from the Executone Hamlet Challenge Cup. Later, it's a shootout for the LPGA National Pro-Am title. The pressure's on, and you'll see all the final round excitement live. ESPN's Where the Action Is, tomorrow.
Well, we've gone back to caution flag because Trevor Boyes lost control coming out of turn number 2 just after a restart, so it was an abbreviated restart. Kenny Schrader was involved. He touched some fenders. There was a lot of banging going on around there, but nobody hit hard and nobody hit the wall. Here's what happened, Benny.
Well, Trevor Boyes gets the car a little bit sideways, comes down the racetrack, tries to save it, but the car goes around. Now he has no choice but go up the racetrack, right in front of Mike Alexander. You can see the rest of the cars trying to stop. Kenny Schrader,
being pushed by Bobby
Hillin will not let him stop. He just pushes him into the wreck.
Of course, again, let's repeat that when you're in a corner here, all you see is a wall of pavement. He may not have been able to see what was going on in front of him just because of position.
I mean, the car in front of him stops, so you try to stop, and the guy behind you, it's just a chain reaction. You simply cannot react fast enough.
There have been some very interesting goings-on down in the pit area with all these caution flags. There's been a number of opportunities for the top cars to come in and pit. We have seen Dale Earnhardt get the advantage on Darrell Waltrip a number of times coming out of the pit area. And one factor to keep in mind here is that the pit area is very small, Benny.
It is very small, and it's very, very wet. And Dale Earnhardt has been pitting. He's been pitting, having an opening to get into his pit, whereas Darrell Waltrip has an opening exiting his pit. A moment ago, Darrell stopped in the middle of pit road, and I thought that he had a terrible mix-up, that he had something wrong. But on a caution, I talked to Jackie. What was the story, Jackie?
All right, Benny, here's what's happening. It's a little game of guts poker down on pit road with the crew members. The pit road area, as you know, is very, very slick tonight, so nobody wants to get pinched inside. They want to be able to have a clear line to get back out. Travis Carter and Darrell Waltrip's crew chief, Jeff Hammond, are going at it saying, look, you're blocking me in. We're not able to get a good, clean shot to a dry spot. Give us a little room. Both of them are going back and forth. So that last time, Jeff Hammond just said, Darrell, stay out in the main lane so that you can get a good running start. So try to stay out in front of Earnhardt. So that's exactly what they did. And while it looked a little disorganized, it was all choreographed by Hammond.
Well, it's more than just going fast and out-braving everybody else, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. There is so many games going on down in the pits. Here's Buddy Baker. He looks like he has some pretty heavy damage because of that little accident.
Looks like we're going green again. The cars roar. Harold Kinder looks over the field. And guess who is in second place in this race? See, there's a red car that's third in line right now. It's got white trim. Haven't we seen that car number 9 earlier this year?
Yes, I think we've been seeing about every place we've been, as a matter of fact. And he is second. Neil Bonnet and Bill Elliott chose to stay out that time. Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt had only had one lap since their last pit stop, but they came in and got 4 new tires.
Neil Bonnet apparently has a tire go down. He slows down rapidly coming out of turn number 2, moves to the high side. Now he goes to the inside. No, looks like he's got it back, but there's smoke coming out where that car looks like tire smoke, Benny.
I don't know. He's going pretty doggone fast right now.
Now it's coming back. He was in front of Bouchard, in front of Elliott there for a moment, but now Bouchard leads the pack around. But remember, Ronnie is 2 laps in the rear. Make that 1 because he leads everybody around, so he has made up 1 lap. A caution flag right now would put Ronnie within reach again.
Bill Elliott is trying his best to stay in the lead. He's gained those 5 bonus points for leading the lap. In Winston Cup racing, you get 5 Winston points if you lead a lap. Bill Elliott has qualified. He gets those bonus points tonight.
Bill Elliott, until just now, has not led 1 lap on a short track in 1985. And he has pulled off the coup here. This is the first time on a short track he's led.
That's an amazing feat. As many laps as he's led on the big tracks, it's almost incredible that he hasn't been able to lead on the short racetrack.
And as you have pointed out, and there's Bonnet getting almost dirt tracking around 1 and 2. After all that hard work by Waltrip, at this point in the race, almost halfway, Elliott has been, well, not coasting. You can't coast here at Bristol. But after all that hard work by Waltrip, and Elliott has just, in a flash of an instant, neutralized it.
He really has, because they have the same amount of points. Oh!
Neil Bonnet has got a tiger by the tail.
Sideways down in turns 1 and 2 and almost took out his teammate, Darrell Waltrip.
Oh, they're very close. Paper wouldn't fit between them as they come around turn number 4. That's Waltrip on the inside, Earnhardt right behind him. And if you could draft, which you can't here, and now they're almost 3 abreast. We're going to go to Jack in just a second, but this is kind of exciting for a moment. Teammates side by side. Junior Johnson cars, both painted red and white, both with that big butt on the hood. There goes Earnhardt trying to follow Waltrip underneath. Bonnet is not slipping quite as much as he was a lap ago, but the number 11 of Waltrip and the number 3 of Earnhardt slipped by. Jeff, they got through without incident.
Larry, there's a lot of animated conversation on the radios between Tim Brewer and Neil Bonnet. At first, they thought it was a right rear tire going flat. They checked that from his out. That doesn't seem to be the problem. Then they thought maybe it was some moisture on the racetrack. That to no avail. I asked Tim Brewer to come on camera and react to it. He says, I don't know what to tell you. We know the car's got a problem, but we got to wait and hope that a caution will come out. Benny, you know how tough it is to drive a car that's loose like that and hope for a caution here at Bristol, don't you?
Oh, it's the most miserable feeling in the world, Jackie, to have to sit there and just simply try to dirt track the car each and every corner that you get to, because he has to have a caution flag to be able to adjust the car and even look at it to find out what's wrong. But as I mentioned earlier, Neil Bonnet did not pit. He chose to stay on the racetrack, and these other cars have 2 tires that are fresher than Neil Bonnet's.
Even though they're only in the race for the lead is
Earnhardt is underneath Darrell Waltrip coming off turn 4. They made contact up in the corner.
Boy, these guys have just had themselves one whale of a night. They have been racing each other almost since the drop of the green flag. I think they touched again just there. 200 and, what are we at here? 35 laps, 15 laps to go to the halfway point. Smoke just barreling out from underneath Earnhardt's car. Earnhardt really leaning on it that time.
He had the car sideways up in the corner and would not get out of the throttle. He simply just burned that right rear tire and made it smoke.
Now, you can get away with that a couple of times during a green flag segment on relatively fresh tires, but if you do that lap after lap, sooner or later that outer thin surface wears away and you've lost it.
Exactly right. And meanwhile, while they're racing, Bill Elliott continues to lead.
Well, Bouchard doing a fine job holding on up there, keep holding back Elliott, Waltrip, and Earnhardt. Bouchard is just hoping. Of course, I guess you can't think too much on a racetrack like this, but he would certainly like to see a caution.
Well, not as fast as they're going right now. He simply is just trying to keep the car headed in the right direction.
Or 8 cars, rather, on the lead lap. Elliott leads, Waltrip second, and Elliott bottoms out going into turn number 3. And he dirt tracks around the 4th turn. Elliott driving in the rearview mirror, not necessarily driving forward. Bouchard is right there. He figures Ron will keep up the speed. In 3rd position is Earnhardt. Richmond is 4th. Rudd is 5th, all on the lead lap. 6th, Richard Petty. 7th is Kyle Petty. Then 1 lap down is Gant and Allison. 2 laps down, Bouchard and Baker. Make that 1 lap down for Bouchard. I stand corrected. 3 laps down, leg speed, and there goes Waltrip to the inside. Waltrip may have the combination to get around Elliott side by side. These are the 2 guys going after it for the points, and Waltrip moves underneath. Earnhardt uses the advantage, takes the opportunity. They touch again.
They touch again. How many times has that 3 and 11 cars touched tonight?
I'll tell you, that, however, is the ultimate expression of confidence. They know it's going to happen. They know just about how far they can push, and there goes Elliott sliding into the turn. A little surprised at that because he's just been passed, and you would think they would normally kind of sit down and relax for a minute or 2, but boy, he really cranked it in there.
I think he would like to catch those 2 cars. If there's nothing in this world he'd love more than to pass those 2 cars back right now, because he probably don't like the way they got by him.
And we're talking about that subject of confidence, and I think it bears worth repeating. These guys really do trust in one another. There's a lot of barbs sometimes thrown around in the pits between races, and a lot of good-natured kidding and some psyche that tries to go on. But when you get out there, there's so much hanging out there, so much at risk. You've got to have the ultimate in confidence in each other to race like that.
Well, it's all a give-and-take situation, Larry. If these fellows did not give another fellow a break or did not take a break when they had to, they could not run a lap without crashing.
This year marks the 25th anniversary of the Bristol International Raceway. It's one of the most exciting racetracks in the country. High bank, little more than a half mile, 36 degrees are the banks, and the cars go very fast around here. And if you've never seen a race here, you're really missing something, believe me. Bristol, Tennessee, we'll be back.
This is Mr. Goodwrench. Did you know that the spark plugs in your GM car or truck make 8,000 explosions a minute? Each explosion depends on an exact amount of gasoline and air to make your car perform right. So to make sure all those explosions happen precisely, get a professional tune-up by Mr. Goodwrench. We have quality GM parts, equipment, and training available.
It's another of Mr. Goodwrench's good ways.
To keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts.
In hard-driving NASCAR racing, driver Jeff Bodine relies on the same Exxon motor oil you can buy in stores. Exxon Uniflow, for the tough protection it takes to go the distance. Protection against grinding friction. Protection against searing engine heat. Get the same protection for your car, too. Exxon Uniflow, quality you can count.
Just hear the stock cars rolling down that high bank track. Better keep your eye on number 5, cause he ain't looking back. That's Levi Garrett coming through. Face that flavor coming through for you. Time after time, the quality comes through. That's why Levi Garrett is the brand I'm proud to choose. Levi Garrett.
Hi, this is Jerry Lewis for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And these are some of my kids visiting the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales. This year, once again, Anheuser-Busch is pledging over $2 million to muscular dystrophy. So look for these displays wherever you buy Bud and Bud Light. It's your chance to join the fight against muscular dystrophy. And thank you from all of my kids.
ESPN's live Sunday of Sports includes the final round of the LPGA National Pro-Am from Denver. We've got more live golf Sunday.
No shortage of spectators here. Every seat in the house is filled. There are a lot of standees, and there are even piling up on the mountains towering above this racetrack. Lots of people here at Bristol. Next week, it might be the race of the decade. Who knows? It might even be the race of the century. That might be stretching the point just a bit, but Bill Elliott goes after one, maybe as many as $2 million next week, next Sunday live here on ESPN. If Elliott wins that race, he gets the $1 million bonus from Winston. As we told you at the top of the show, he has won so often, he stands to win an additional $1 million in race winnings alone. Elliott running in the top 5 here tonight, but it looks like that Waltrip and Earnhardt are the guys to beat. Here's Jack Arute.
Gentlemen, normally during a race here at night at Bristol, Tennessee, pit crews have to use these type of carbon arc lights so that they can see their pit stops. But because we're telecasting this thing live, we brought in additional lights to light it up like daytime down here. So the pit crews, they haven't had to use these. They've had the benefit of our TV lights.
Now, these lights have been brought in from the Midwest, Benny, and this is the same company that lights such major sporting events as the Rose Bowl, and they're just 5 giant standards that are towering above this racetrack, but it's like daylight.
It really is. The lighting is incredible. It's very, very good. I've been coming here, as I mentioned, for 15 years, and it's like racing in the afternoon.
Yeah, there you get an idea of the lights that are normally here at the Bristol International Raceway. You can see how dark it is. Yes, it's dark out there. You saw the mountains in the background. There are all the people we were talking about. And you see it's just pitch black in the entire area. But right here at the Bristol International Raceway, it's noon.
I'm going to take your word for you. There's mountains back there. I didn't see any.
Yeah, okay. There's Ronnie Thomas, who, by the way, showed up in the top 15 a few laps ago. That red car, number 41. Ronnie, kind of a hometown guy here at this racetrack. He's from Christiansburg, Virginia. He's one of those marginal teams that works so very hard to do well in Grand National Racing. He qualified for this race. He started in 23rd position, and so far, he has really made the most of it. There's a good tight shot of Ronnie, the number 41 car, the Wilder's Bolts and Nuts Chevrolet from Christiansburg, Virginia. The Pettys, they've had a go at it tonight, and they've been together for about 100 laps.
Engine in turn 3 and 4.
Looks like Mike Alexander. The leaders are right close. Alexander coasting coming off turn 4. Black flag coming off for Alexander. No caution flag. Alexander continues out on the racetrack. He drops below the white line, and I think he is out of the way. It didn't look like he spread any moisture on the racetrack.
No, but guess who is now leading the race? Dale Earnhardt. When Darrell Waltrip went in the corner behind Mike Alexander and saw the smoke, he backed off the throttle.
Yeah,
Dale Earnhardt ducked under him, took the lead. Here we go. Here's a replay. We can see the smoke right in front of Darrell Waltrip.
You got to make that call when there's that much smoke. And you can see Waltrip probably on the brakes, the car bottoming out. He probably is sitting that car down, and Earnhardt just races in there like all Billy Heck and gets around.
Runs in, almost hits Darrell Waltrip one more time.
Well, earlier we called it a classic duel, and it truly is. On any racetrack, these are two of the finest drivers, certainly, that you can find in any type of racing. But on a short racetrack, with Earnhardt's bravado, his toughness, and his courage, Waltrip's pinpoint strategy, his experience, his record of success, I guess these would be the two guys that you would look at putting on that classic duel, Benny.
It really would, because this is, as you could not have contrasted their styles any better than you just did. And he's exactly right. Waltrip, his car is going to get it as perfect as he can, and he's not going to manhandle the car. He's going to work on it. He's going to adjust it. He's going to get it handling perfect. Dale Earnhardt is going to manhandle it, do whatever he takes to get to the front. And both the fellows, with their strategies, have been in front tonight.
Earnhardt washes out a little bit on the high side going around turn number 1, but Waltrip does not have enough room to make advantage. Well, D.K. Ulrich is a guy who has been around Grand National Racing for a long time, and this year he has a young rookie driver by the name of Eddie Burchwell from San Antonio, Texas, that races for him. Eddie drives the U.S. Racing Chevrolet, and he made the field here tonight. He was the 26th fastest qualifier. He's been able to stay out there. It's been basically an airless night for Eddie Burchwell. There he is, the handsome young-looking Texan. You see, 34 years of age. His rookie season in Grand National Racing.
He's been doing some racing back in San Antonio on the short tracks and getting some experience. And now he's stepped up to Grand National Racing, getting some great experience. He's running every race, and it just seems to be improving with each and every race.
Yeah, it's been a tough year, though. You know, there have been a lot of spins, but Eddie has stayed with it and continues to thrash away. You can see that he trails Schrader in the rookie standings by 15 points, and Don Hume is a distant third place. His best finish so far this season has been 15th, and that took place right here. He kind of likes this racetrack.
Well, I tell you what, he's running a good line, good conservative line tonight, and he might have a top 10 finish tonight before the thing's over.
Well, there is the rookie points leader, Ken Schrader, the dirt track star who won a dirt track race, as a matter of fact, about a week ago on a quarter-mile dirt racetrack in Illinois. He's back in Junie Donlevy's number 90 race car, Kenny Schrader, driving the Ultra Seal Ford, who qualified almost 110.5 miles an hour tonight, started in 22nd position, and right now he's had a bit of a disappointing night. He was involved in that incident just momentarily in turn number 2, and he's about in 20th spot.
Earnhardt seems to be putting a few car links on Darrell Waltrip. Earnhardt seemed to he handled very well to begin and seemed to lose it around the 100 to 200 lap mark, but he seems to have it back. They must have adjusted on the car. He seems to have it back, and right now I can't really tell who has the better car, he or Darrell Waltrip.
Well, we have gone past the halfway point in this race. That was, of course, at lap number 250. We have now completed 273 laps, and here is a mid-race recap to help you out. At 250 laps, the race had gone an hour and 32 minutes. The average speed was about 87 miles per hour. There had been 7 leaders. They had exchanged the lead 14 times. We had 7 cautions. 41 laps in total had been run under yellow. Out of the race at that point, Tommy Ellis, Mike Potter, champion Terry Labonte, the exciting Greg Sachs, and a disappointment for the perseverant one, Jimmy Means. The top 10 at lap 250 were Waltrip and Earnhardt, and that's changed regularly, Bonnet, Elliott, and Tim Richmond. 6th through 10th at the 250 lap point, the 2 Petties. In 6th and 7th, Ricky Rudd was 8th, Bobby Allison was 9th, and Harry Gant was 10th. That gives you a recap on what has happened in this race up till now. We've got about half of the race to go, so stay with us.
If you need life insurance protection, a good chunk of it, but you don't want to keep paying for it forever, look into QuickPay, the different kind of life insurance from Transamerica. With QuickPay, you decide the number of years you want to pay for your coverage. 3, 5, 7, that's it. You're paid up for life. You're protected for life. Let me show you. Say you're like me, 40, don't smoke, and you need $100,000 of protection. And you want your payments to end in 5 years. Look, you pay $1,569 a year. A total of $7,845 in premiums, not a cent more. You have $100,000 in protection from the word go. All along the way, your Transamerica QuickPay policy builds tax-deferred cash value at high current interest rates. And you don't pay even 1 premium after the first 5 years. QuickPay from Transamerica. Find out about it. Quick. For complete details about QuickPay, call 800-372-3000. Toll free, that's 800-372-3000. Call now.
This live primetime broadcast is being brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to see today's Chevy, drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy. By Mr. Goodwrench and General Motors Parts. And by the Levi Garrett Chewing Tobacco Company. Time after time, that quality comes through. It continues to be Earnhardt and Elliott. As you can see, Earnhardt has placed Buddy Baker and Rusty Wallace between the two of them. They put Baker and Wallace down another lap, and those cars that remain on the lead lap continue to dwindle. We're now down to 7 cars in the lead lap. Ricky Rudd just lost his leading lap status, and Petty, Elliott, Kyle Petty, Bonnet, Richmond, Waltrip, and Earnhardt are now the only 7 cars running on the lead step.
And right now, it looks like that Waltrip is keeping up strictly by determination, because watching the cars go around the racetrack, it appears as though Earnhardt has a better handling race car. But Waltrip seems to be as determined to win tonight as he was in the interview that Jackie Root had earlier on. He said, we must win tonight, and it looks like he is putting forth every effort to win.
You know, Benny, a long race on a short track, particularly a flat racetrack, I'm never really surprised when somebody dominates, because if you got the right setup, it's so difficult to pass and so relatively little action occurs on a flat track. I'm not surprised when one guy dominates. There's Kyle Petty, by the way, working on Neil Bonnet. Back to that subject in a moment. They're racing for position on the lead lap.
And they're racing for 4th and 5th spot. Kyle came through the pack, caught Neil Bonnet, and was by him, except Neil used the pick. He used Ronnie Thomas, ran Kyle in behind him. Kyle had no choice but back off and fall in behind Neil Bonnet.
Well, Bonnet, Kyle Petty, Richard Petty, and Bill Elliott, they've run a pretty good race. They've been able to stay on the lead lap despite not running with the leaders. Elliott led there briefly. He accomplished what he wanted to. You know, you wonder, is Elliott holding back at all? I doubt it, because they are about a quarter of a lap from being lapped.
So, no, Bill Elliott is not holding back right now. He's putting forth all he has. And tonight, all he has is not good enough. Kyle Petty, alongside Neil Bonnet, going down the back straightaway, has position on him. If he can just hold the car on the bottom of the racetrack, you'll be able to pass him coming off turn 4. But no, he can't.
Well, Kyle Petty has started here at Bristol 9 times. Of course, he just came to the circuit a few years ago. A lot of these guys have raced here 20, 30 times. And for Kyle, it's a new experience. Bonnet has been here many more times than Kyle, but Kyle has got the advantage right now down on the inside.
He has it on the inside. This time he has a little bit. No, Neil Bonnet comes back coming off turn 4 one more time. But Kyle has the advantage down in turns 1 and 2. Maybe he'll be able to get by him this time.
No, not quite.
Here comes Bonnet back.
Now, for Bill Elliott, he's got to make a choice here. Which one of these guys is going to get out of this with the advantage? I want to follow the guy who ends up leading this duo. So he goes back and forth. Well, I'll follow Kyle. Well, no, I'll follow Neil. I don't know which one will get through.
And meanwhile, they're just getting themselves lapped because they're slowing. Oh, Neil Bonnet slipped just a little bit, enable Kyle to get by him. Now Elliott tries to get by.
There's Eddie Burschwell coming into the picture. Now
Neil's going to run him in behind Eddie Burschwell.
Yep, that'll be the move. There's Richard in the background lurking, and Neil's going to stay down tight on Bill and pin him in there behind Burschwell, and that's all clean and legal. You see him pin him in. He goes to the outside. Elliott's going to move to the outside now, holding back Richard and follow Neil through. Benny, the point I was going to make was on a flat track, I'm not that surprised when one car dominates, but here at Bristol, I would have never expected a performance like Earnhardt is turning in.
Well, I would, because I was here back in the middle 70s when Junior's car, first with Cale Yarborough at the wheel and then with Darrell Waltrip, simply dominated this race every time we showed up here. It was always the 11 car winning the race. Darrell Waltrip won 7 races in a row at this speedway. And tonight, he's trying to make it 8 out of 11.
Well, Earnhardt and Waltrip have now put 3 seconds between themselves and the rest of the cars on the lead lap. Waltrip has not been able to get back around Earnhardt. He's kept pace, but the Pettys and Bonnet, they have slid behind now, and even more, it continues to be more and more of a 2-car race.
It simply is. It's a 2-car race tonight. There's no doubt about it. If something happens to Earnhardt and Waltrip, it is a wide open event. But as long as one of those 2 cars are there, they are simply got to win.
Well, Darrell Waltrip has been one of the most outspoken people, as most everybody knows who follows racing, about the point system over the last couple of years. But the worm has kind of turned on him. Now he is the chaser rather than being the chasee, and he has these comments on it.
I can just think back over the years where other drivers have won half of the races to this point, and all of a sudden you don't hear about them anymore. All of a sudden they start thinking about points, and they start thinking about winning $1 million, and they start thinking about, well, we've had a good year, let's don't tear up anything. And the first thing you know, they're not a factor.
We want to show you an interesting comparison. The other major league sanctioning body in America, of course, is CART. They sanction Indianapolis car racing. The point system is different. Now, if Elliott and Waltrip were earning points on the basis of the CART system, here's what the difference would be. 60 points. That equates to 3 races that Waltrip would have to win while Elliott dropped out for him to be in the points championship. The lead would be dominant for Bill Elliott. But here with the NASCAR system, as you can see, it's a different direction entirely. The points race are certainly not even a whole race difference.
No, one race. If Bill Elliott were to have trouble, one race and Darrell Waltrip win it, the points battle would be even.
There is Richard Petty going a lap down. Earnhardt and Waltrip are going by. Petty was in, or is in, 7th position, and now only 6 cars remain on the lead lap. This is the longest green flag segment that we've seen here tonight, and Waltrip and Earnhardt are really showing just how dominant they are. Here they come up on Bonnet and Elliott.
And they are just putting Neil Bonnet a lap down, and Bill Elliott is right in front of Dale Earnhardt.
Now, Benny, when this is happening with 300 laps of a 500-lap race down, do Earnhardt and Elliott, or rather Earnhardt and Waltrip, think at this point, hey, this is our chance to really reduce the odds on it for us, to get as many cars one lap down? Is that something that's consciously in your brain?
Yes, it is. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to get Bill Elliott a lap down because they know that he has a fast car, a car, once he gets the kinks out of it, could win this race. But battling from a lap down is very, very hard. Boy, Darrell Waltrip breathed a sigh of relief when he put that 9-car lap down.
Because that undoubtedly will mean more points for Waltrip and less for Elliott. And Waltrip thinking right now, gee, we've had kind of a victory here tonight. Even if I don't win first place, at least I know that I've got a leg up on Bill Elliott.
Well, right now we only have 4 cars in the lead lap, and Kyle Petty is 4th place car. He is in the same straightaway right in front of Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip. So those 2 cars are simply running away with the show tonight.
Only 5 drivers who were in this starting field tonight here at Bristol had previous wins at this racetrack. Bobby Allison, Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, Terry Labonte, and Darrell Waltrip. So it doesn't look like that victory will be spread, those victories will be spread around anymore tonight. Looks like somebody else who's already won is going to win again.
Well, that's for sure. But we have 200 laps to go, almost 200 laps to go. And believe me, anything can happen in that length of time.
Now, every once in a while, it might just fall that way. The cards might come down on the table and somebody who right now is running a lap down. You never know. It might be a Ricky Rudd. It might be a Neil Bonnet. Maybe a Richard Petty. They might get a break on a pit stop. They might select the right tires on the last pit stop, and they may be dumb it. There may be a caution flag with only 20, 30 laps to go, and it might happen. We saw that happen about a year ago with Tim Richmond.
Exactly right. Circumstances mean so much in Grand National racing anymore because the cars, Larry, are so close. You know, it looks like tonight we only have 2 cars, but normally at a racetrack, we have 10 cars that are so close that the end result, circumstances, who gets the best tires, who gets the caution flag when they really need a caution flag, that determines who wins.
Kyle Petty has now gone a lap down. Only 3 cars in the lead lap. Where is Tim Richmond? Let's look around this racetrack and see if we can see how far away he is. Richmond is about a turn behind the 2 leaders, so they are picking them up and laying them down. It's a Bob Hayes dual effort here tonight at Bristol. Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip look like they will be the 2 cars to beat here at Bristol, but there still are about 200 laps to go and only time to tell.
Look how water can destroy unprotected wood, but not if it's protected with Thompson's Water Seal. Use Thompson's Water Seal waterproofer on dozens of surfaces. Brush on Thompson's for an invisible barrier that helps prevent water from entering and damaging brick, wood, and concrete. Your house isn't really protected until it's protected with Thompson's Water Seal. Many stores now have special values on Thompson's Water Seal.
ESPN has America's favorite sports Monday. Football's first with the premiere of NFL Films Presents featuring Bud Grant and John McKay. Then our award-winning auto racing coverage takes off. See all the start-to-finish excitement at Carts Domino's Pizza Pocono 500. And meet the masters of the major leagues. We'll talk to the men who are making history inside baseball and show you how they're doing it. Football, auto racing, and baseball Monday.
Well, the top 5 after 315 laps, Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, Tim Richmond, Kyle Petty, and Bill Elliott, and only the first 3 cars are on the lead lap. History here at Bristol, well, starting positions. In 49 previous Winston Cup races, the winner has started out of the top 10 only 5 times, a pretty poor percentage. The last driver to do it, Dale Earnhardt, who started 12th in this year's Valleydale 500 or the spring race. The best place to start? Well, Dale Earnhardt had that pole position, 12 winners, where about 25% of them have started up front.
Well, this racetrack, with the banks and the speeds that they run, starting up front is a definite advantage. And Earnhardt started on the pole, and he really hasn't looked back except a few times when Darrell Waltrip got by him.
Earnhardt and Waltrip are almost embarrassing everybody else in this field. There you see Earnhardt's 85 finishes. He has a couple of wins. Very few drivers have won races this year, and even smaller number have won multiple races. But Earnhardt is going for it tonight, and this might be win number 3.
Yes. He's pulling alongside Lake Speed, putting him another lap down, going to turn 3. There's Bill Elliott. He's keeping the thing in straight anyway.
Well, his best short track finish this year has been a 6th, and he's pushing that right now. Right now, he's running in 5th, and there's Harry Gant. Now, normally, particularly on the big racetracks, because Harry is often so fast, we see a lot from him, but he's been relatively quiet tonight, but he stayed out of trouble, and he looks like he's headed for a solid top 10.
He is. He's just a lap down, and he's 2 laps down right now. I'm sorry, I thought he was racing Neil Bonnet for position, but he's in 9th spot. And Harry had a tough qualifying. He qualified 15th, which really got him behind the 8 ball. There's a good picture of Harry again, who, I might add, just a couple of weeks ago in Michigan, won the International Race of Champions Series, and with that, $150,000.
He really surprised Darrell Waltrip. Darrell admitted in Victory Lane afterwards, we never thought about Harry Gant. Everything had to happen for Harry. He had to lead the most laps, he had to finish ahead of Waltrip, and he had to win the race. Seemingly impossible, but he did it.
And I tried to borrow a quarter, and guess what?
Yeah, he said no, right?
That's right.
You know, Harry made a very nice gesture about the winnings from that series. He distributed that just like the normal winnings that he would make with his Grand National team. He said, the reason why I'm here is because my guys in the Grand National car worked so hard. My car owner, Hal Needham, and Burt Reynolds, my crew, Travis Carter, the crew chief, they are the reason why I'm here. They gave me the opportunity to win this extra money, and I'm dealing with this just like I would if this was Grand National money, and he spread it out among all of it.
I felt like that was one of the nicest gestures I'd ever heard of in Grand National racing. Gave Needham his share and the crew their share.
Harry Gant in car number 33, Neil Bonnet in number 12, and right now it looks like they're out of it for victory, both laps down. There's Ricky Rudd. Ricky trying that real high groove.
He is really running high. Evidently his car just is not working. That's the 8th place car, and look how high he gets up in the turn. We've talked about, Larry, just how the groove is on the bottom of the racetrack, and here Ricky Rudd is going right to the top of the racetrack. Up against the guardrail, back down the middle of the racetrack, but his car's not slipping. His only problem is it's sticking very well up there, but it's so far around the racetrack as compared to the competition. He's probably running 50 yards that Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip is not running in a lap.
Yeah, he's running farther, and it certainly adds up. When you do that 500 times, it really makes a difference. He qualified 6th fastest today. He won one race in 1984, but like so many of the drivers who anticipated winning in 1985, it just hasn't happened yet. He did finish 2nd at this race in the spring. He put on a very fine performance, but he just couldn't set down Dale Earnhardt, who was wrestling that power steering-less automobile.
That's right. He finished 2nd.
Well, there's a pose we've seen a number of times. What, 3 or 4 times before you've seen that?
You know, there doesn't seem to be anything in the world that bothers Junior. He just watches his cars getting beaten right now, and beaten rather soundly, but you know, you can't tell by looking at him if he's running 1st a lap ahead or 5th a lap down.
He's a very interesting man, Benny, and he's all businesslike when it comes to racing. He takes this game very seriously, and despite the fact that he's a legend, and you know, a lot of people make fun of the Inglehauer and the Rhonda, North Carolina, down where he lives, and the good old boy racing, he's quite a businessman, and he's been a big, big plus, in my opinion, for the sport of racing. Jack?
Junior Johnson may not be showing any sort of emotions right now, but his head is whirling like a whirling dervish. They have got a problem. I checked with Junior and with Jeff Hammond. They've got another tire that's going down. It's blistering, not going down. So they've backed out of the throttle a little bit. But consider this on the Earnhardt side of the issue. He's running fine, and they're beginning now to just measure up what set of tires they want to go with on that last pit stop. Add a 3rd and very important variable. It's beginning to mist just so slightly down here on pit road. So what do you do, Benny? Do you nurse that tire, or do you signal to Darrell Waltrip that, hey, we might get rain and this thing might end prematurely, so go back and try and get to the front?
I think that they're going to have to nurse the car, because if Darrell really leans on that tire, if it is blistered, it's simply he's going to have problems with it and have to make a pit stop and lose a couple of laps. And right now, Dale Earnhardt is putting a serious challenge on Tim Richmond to put him a lap down. Now, that would leave only he and Darrell Waltrip in the lead lap, and I don't think Darrell wants to give up that position.
Now, let's consider that subject of rain that Jack has brought up. For Darrell Waltrip, obviously, winning the race is priority number one. There's Earnhardt again, putting the heat on Tim Richmond. Winning the race is priority number one, but a close second is finishing ahead of Bill Elliott. And even though he might not have an opportunity to win this race, he wants to be certain that he at least finishes ahead of Elliott so he can move in just a touch.
Well, but he's only going to gain if he finishes right now. If they finish the way they are, he would only gain 10 points on Bill Elliott. And that really isn't what he needs at a short racetrack. He needs 30 or 40 points at a Bristol, because he's going to lose 10 or 15 when he gets to there. Earnhardt drives alongside Tim Richmond and does put him a lap down.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this potential of rain. If it rains, expect the race to be interrupted. Unless it rains very hard, they will not throw the red flag. We have gone far enough to make this an official race, but every effort will be made to complete this race to run the 500 laps. It's about 9:45 here in Bristol, Tennessee tonight. 337 laps have been completed, about 160 to go, so they've got a lot of time, should the rain start to come down harder, to slow this race down and then try to finish it later this evening.
Well, they have till 1 o'clock in the morning as far as that goes. There isn't a curfew there. We can race. And look, Darrell Waltrip is close back up. He's close back up. He's right on the back bumper of Dale Earnhardt. Now, does Earnhardt have a problem all of a sudden? Because Waltrip has just instantly gained. Yes, I think Earnhardt has a problem.
Here comes Darrell Waltrip. Maybe Darrell is seeing those little sprinkles of rain pelting the windshield. Darrell is going to make a run at him. Darrell Waltrip has decided now is the time. He looks to the high side of Dale Earnhardt. He fills Dale's mirror and says, "Hey, Dale, here I come, buddy." He goes to the high side again. That's not been the fastest group for most of the drivers tonight, but it has worked for Darrell Waltrip. Once again, he takes a look at Earnhardt. They look at each other's eyes through the rearview mirror.
Yes, Jackie Root has something from the pits.
Yes, Benny, I checked with Richard Childress. I said, is there a problem? He said, no, we're running just as strong as we were before. It's just that Waltrip's gotten a little bit stronger.
Well, you know, the characteristics of these cars can change as the fuel load drops. Maybe it becomes in harmony with the spring and the tires that you particularly have at that moment. So as the fuel gets lighter in the race car, it can have an effect on the performance.
It can, but I tell you what, Waltrip gains, he gained all the advantage in a lap or two. It's like that something happened to, but I guess that Jackie is right. He's down there in the trenches, and I don't have a stopwatch up here. I don't know if that Darrell Waltrip gained a tenth or two on those laps, and evidently he did.
Okay, those are the two guys. One lap down in order. Richmond runs third. Kyle Petty is fourth. Bill Elliott is fifth. Neil Bonnet is sixth. Waltrip takes another look up top. Richard Petty is seventh. Coming off of turn number 4. Waltrip is off the pace. Waltrip slows down suddenly. Now he moves back up on the groove. Did he just lose control momentarily, Benny? I think so.
Well, he probably, you know, that's the thing with a bad tire. And Richmond is off the pace as well. Tim Richmond, the third place runner, is off the pace. Now he's back up to speed.
Well, both drivers kind of suddenly slowing coming off of turn number 4, but picking it back up right away. But for Earnhardt, what an advantage, because he now races into turn number 4. Now there is Waltrip, there is Earnhardt coming off of 4 on the high side of the front stretch. There's Richmond going by, and no, that was Joe Ruttman, and there's the number 11 car of Darrell Waltrip. So you can see that Waltrip has lost maybe 500 feet. There's Darrell getting sideways. I think that tire is taking effect, Benny.
Yes, he almost lost control of that car. Almost went around. Now he's really nursing that car. You know, I guess that he did. He tried to catch Earnhardt. He really put some pressure on that tire, and it would not take it.
And I think that's an example of how delicate that tire feels, because oftentimes a major league race driver like him, he gets out of control. He stays in the throttle. Darrell got out of it that time to protect the situation. Well, 350 laps are coming up, and Dale Earnhardt right now has a clean and green racetrack in front of him. Darrell Waltrip desperately would like a yellow flag so they perhaps could make some changes in the tire department.
Maximum lateral acceleration, a test of a car's ability to hold the road in cornering.
Only one of these cars can hold the road at .91 Gs. It isn't Porsche 928S. It isn't Ferrari 308 GTSI. It isn't Lotus S3 Turbo. The only one that can hold the road at .91 Gs is the Chevrolet Corvette. That's what it takes to be a new world-class champion. Drive today's Chevy. Live today's Chevy.
I'm Mr. Goodwrench. If you could ride under your car, you'd see the dirty, hard work your suspension system does to give you a stable, comfortable ride. In time, these parts wear, so have the suspension system examined regularly. If it's shocks you need, I'll install new GM Goodwrench shock absorbers with a lifetime limited warranty. You get them exclusively from a GM dealer who sells GM Goodwrench parts. Just stop in and keep that great GM feeling.
With genuine GM parts.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Hey, that truck runs, a Fisher & Son doesn't.
Only gets the big Q. Quaker State.
Well, you can depend on number one.
Fuel pop, they start with Pennsylvania grade crude.
Nothing like Quaker State.
It's a one-of-a-kind formula. Stable viscosity, keeps the oil flowing, protecting, no matter what.
No substitute for quality. I got two great partners.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
This buzz for everyone in the spotlight before the show begins.
This buzz for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So here's to you.
Showtime,
Hey, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Hey, man, nice job.
This buzz for you.
Sunday, your source for sports has the National Collegiate Rowing Championship. Find out which crew crosses our total sports finish line first. Sunday.
Back at Bristol, Tennessee, and Darrell Waltrip, despite what we think to be tires that aren't working just properly, is staying with it. He's slogging away, and he's really putting the pressure on Earnhardt.
He really is. I tell you what about, talk about perseverance, Darrell Waltrip tonight just keeps coming back. Several times I thought that Earnhardt had clearly a better race car. Darrell keeps coming back and right now seems to have a better race car than Earnhardt.
And believe me, it takes a lot of intestinal fortitude. It truly does. It's not just a cliche to say, but this is tough work. Pounding on this pavement, the G-forces, 3 or 4 Gs, if they go into the corners, it's very difficult, and it really does hurt. Just plain old hurts after about 200 or 300 laps here. Darrell Waltrip following around Dale Earnhardt.
And right there, there's a bump as you go in turn 3. And I tell you, when you go in and hit that bump, it just like it drives you through that seat. And here, Earnhardt going down in turn 1. The same kind of, when you drive down these corners, it really is a tremendous amount of downforce as you go into the turns.
And it's a feeling that you can feel as you go into the corners. It actually pushes you right down in the seat. It's something you really sense as you are a racing driver. Now, earlier today, Jack had an opportunity to take a look at that phenomenon.
The high banks at Bristol can really take their toll on a driver. They pull as much as 2 Gs when they're working the corners here. Now, what does a G mean? Well, imagine yourself riding a roller coaster for 3 to 4 hours and the feeling that you have as you go down the loops. Well, that's what a driver feels constantly throughout a race here at Bristol. Now, the way that they solve their problems in the neck and the fatigue that's produced there is a simple strap that's attached underneath their armpit and to the helmet. It keeps their head from leaning over in the late stages of the race. Seats are also a question mark, and every driver has their own technique on how to stay firmly planted inside the race car. All the applications use some form of cushioned restraint around a driver's right side. Some wrap around to the center of their chest, while others are a little less severe. Some drivers cock their seat sideways, and some add a little extra padding. Still, some others elect to use a store-bought remedy. But the aim is always the same. Make 1,000 turns at Bristol a little easier. Joe Ruttman has introduced a new variation to the old helmet strap. What he's done is incorporated the strap into a steel yoke. Now, the strap, when it's attached to the helmet...
Darrell Waltrip has spun out in turn number 4. And with it, does that mean the hopes of a 1985 championship? A dramatic turn of events.
No caution flag. What a tough break.
Poor Jeff Bodine being so close by, but Blake just totally wore out.
Yeah, I don't know, Jackie, what happened. Just my arms, all the strength of my arms and my neck just went. It's probably my neck first and took the arms, I don't know, but First time this has happened since 1980, but an awful bad time.
Do you think you can gather it back in and maybe get back in that Nationwide car before the day's out?
Right this way, man, the way I feel, I don't want to get back in it right tonight.
Well, that's the story from Lake Speed's crew and him.
Well, we told you earlier in the evening that this is not easy work in any way, shape, or form, and Lake Speed is giving us a very vivid example of how this racetrack can beat you as an individual into the ground.
This is the hardest racetrack on the circuit physically to run because, you know, the seat that Jackie was doing the piece on when Darrell spun going in turn 3, the seat holds you in along with the seat belts. But Larry, there's nothing to hold your head. You have the strap that's under your arm, and that helps, but it isn't enough.
Getting ready to go green with just a little more than 100 laps to go. Remember that Dale Earnhardt is being shown as the only driver on the lead lap. There are 5 cars, 1 lap down to the leader, and they include, at this point, second place Kyle Petty, Darrell Waltrip third, Tim Richmond fourth, Bill Elliott fifth, and Neil Bonnet sixth. 7th, 2 laps down, Harry Gant, and 8th, Bobby Allison. 9th, 3 laps down, Ron Bouchard. 10th, 4 laps down, the number 43 of Richard Petty, and 11th, 5 laps down, the number 15 of Ricky Rudd. Kyle Petty, is he on the verge of maybe winning for the first time ever in his Grand National stock car career? He's got an entire lap and 1 blue and yellow car to get around.
Well, it's not the lap that's the problem. It's that blue and yellow car. Earnhardt has been the most dominant car all night, and I think right now he's just simply going to stay in front of whoever is in second place, and right now that's Kyle Petty. I think that he probably would have more trouble staying in front of Darrell Waltrip than he will Kyle Petty. And Darrell Waltrip is not out of this thing. He is only 1 lap down, but yet his car is back in shape. He's running good. Darrell's not out of this thing either.
I'm going to tell you one thing about Earnhardt, and it's kind of a little personal, I guess. I like Earnhardt. I like him as a race driver. He's exciting. He's intense. You get 101% from him every single lap, and I would suggest that it's going to be tough for him to hold back just a little bit. That's not his nature.
No, well, no, it isn't. It really isn't his nature. That's exactly right. But I think that right now with 100 laps to go that he is a realist, and he knows why punish the car when I really and truly don't have to.
Lap 400 coming up this time. 400 out of 500 complete. 80% of this race is now over. There's Kyle Petty, the blue and white red numeral 7. He runs in second place on the track, but he is 1 lap down, remember, to Dale Earnhardt.
And he's got all he can handle. Kyle Petty is going to have all he can handle with Tim Richmond. And Jeff Bodine spins 1 more time up at turn 4.
Lots of smoke, but it looked like he avoided any wall contact. We'll see the right side of the car as he goes by. Boy, Jeff has got to be shaking his head back and forth as he powers down the front stretch here and slows down. I heard an explosion. It sounded like somebody's tire going down. The caution flag is out. There is steam or something above turn number 4, but I guess that's the fog beginning to roll in. There's a replay on what happened with Jeff Bodine. There's Bouchard going by. Elliott goes by. Camera pulls back, shows Bodine spinning on the high side.
He just simply goes around. I don't know what caused it. I saw some smoke. I thought there was an excessive amount of smoke inside the car. Now everybody is back in the pits 1 more time. Everybody would love to win this race out of the pits to get in front of Dale Earnhardt. Jackie Arute is down in the pits.
And they're going to the left side rubber on Dale Earnhardt's car. You can see the scars on the left side from doing battle at Bristol. He's off and away. They've made the exchange. And a quick cursory survey of the tires there, Benny. Things look pretty good for Dale Earnhardt.
Well, I think, Jackie, that Dale has been nursing the car. He's keeping that thing alive just as well as he can because he knows there's potentially a problem for a tire to blister. In other words, the tire compound just a little bit too soft for what these fellows are putting them through tonight.
Well, here's one more look at what happened on the high side of turn number 4 to Jeff Bodine. Coming that time, you can see the smoke coming up on the bottom of the screen. Pull back and see Jeff spinning around like a whirligig, but no contact with the wall and no contact with any other race car. While all this violence is happening here at the racetrack, as it does all the races that we cover, it seems like, you know, one of the real appealing parts of automobile racing for me is that many of racetracks are in rural areas, some of the most scenic lands in all of America. Benny, for me, that's part of the appeal. And after this brief break on eyes and ears, pastoral settings, we'll be back with more violent action after this.
Every Ferrari 308 leaving Italy for America leaves on Goodyear radial tires, and only Goodyear radial tires. Why? Because Mr. Ferrari wants it that way.
You know, there are more and more places today where you can't smoke. Like here on the job. But when I want tobacco pleasure, I still make out like a bandit. With these, Skull Bandits. Skull Bandits is tobacco in a neat little pouch. You don't chew it. You just put one between your cheek and gum and enjoy the refreshing taste wherever you are. My choice is wintergreen. The mint goes over big, too. When you can't smoke, you can still make out like a bandit with Skull Bandits. The little pouch of tobacco pleasure.
If your home isn't already protected by this premium acrylic latex house paint, it's time you discovered beautiful True Test Weatherall from True Value Hardware stores. Weatherall goes on smoothly and resists mildew, cracking, and peeling. It protects exterior wood, stucco, and masonry in any weather. And you can choose from 3 finishes and more than 700 rich colors. So give your home the protection and beauty of True Test Weatherall house paint from participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
While you were away, there were 2 very brief green flag laps, and then the rains came. Now, it is not coming down hard. You can see the puddle there in the pit area that there's enough sprinkles. The sprinkles have become serious enough to delay this race. The caution flag is out. By the way, the weather radar about a half hour ago was showing nothing, Benny, but I commented about what seemed to be fog moving in over turn number 4, and it may simply be that. It may be mountain fog that is condensing into rain because the weather radar is not picking it up, but it's wet enough out there to throw out the caution flag.
Well, as we talked earlier in the race, these tires have no tread. They are slick, so therefore they just simply cannot run in the rain. They have to slow down and take it easy, and that's what they're doing right now, hoping that the little brief sprinkles will go away and we can get back to racing.
This is the 11th caution flag, the all-time record for caution flags here at Bristol. Just to give you an idea of how tonight has been going, is 12, and that was set here in the spring, so we are approaching that track record. 411 laps have been completed. Dale Earnhardt is out front by at least a lap over the entire field, so nobody is really in a position to challenge Dale, so that they have to call this race. I would not think that from that standpoint there would be any hard feelings. Dale Earnhardt at number 3, the Wrangler Jeans car, the one tough customer who won here in the spring, is certainly well on his way again here tonight.
Benny, I've got a question for you up in the booth. Being a race driver, when you have the rain come down like this and the pace car running as slow as it is, are you not concerned as a driver that after an engine having been running so hot and so powerful all night that maybe you could foul a plug or something could go wrong right now?
That is a prime concern of everyone out there right now, is to don't foul any spark plugs. And there's several ways that you can go about that, and I'm sure every driver is implementing that right now, trying to keep the fuel, all the fuel is going in the engine, burned, and not drowning those spark plugs out.
The reason why I ask that is as you watch it topside, watch Dale Earnhardt. He takes a run every once in a while in the pace car, as if he's trying to say to the pace car driver, look, I need a little more speed. I've got to keep my revs up.
Well, that's what he's trying. That run will also turn the engine more RPMs. He'll have that car in first or second gear when he makes that run, Jackie. He'll turn it more RPMs, therefore getting rid of the excess fuel that's puddled down inside the engine.
Well, I thought there was only one guy that could answer that question. He was sitting right next to Larry Newber.
Absolutely, Jack. You know, the rain is just kind of irritating. It's not coming down like a rain shower. It's more than a sprinkle, but it's just enough, just barely enough, to bring the proceedings here to a halt. Dale Earnhardt is thinking, gee, I wish they'd call this. Although thinking about Earnhardt, he likes to race so much, maybe not.
For everyone working to keep the customer satisfied.
This Bud's for you. Nobody else can do the job the way you do. So here's to you.
That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the heavyweight champion of the work.
Dickies work clothes. It's the best-selling work set in America because it's made of the heaviest, toughest fabric in America, fortified with Fortrell. We don't have to knock out the competition. We wear them out. Dickies, the heavyweight champion of the work. Dickies makes everything in work clothes. But who says you have to work in them?
This is Mr. Goodwrench. Did you know that the spark plugs in your GM car or truck make 8,000 explosions a minute? Each explosion depends on an exact amount of gasoline and air to make your car perform right. So to make sure all those explosions happen precisely, get a professional tune-up by Mr. Goodwrench. We have quality GM parts, equipment, and training available.
It's another of Mr. Goodwrench's good ways.
To keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts.
At center, basketball's premier.
You know, there are more and more places today where you can't smoke, like here at the game. But when I want tobacco pleasure, I still make out like a bandit with these Skull Bandits. Skull Bandits is tobacco in a neat little pouch. You don't chew it. Just put one between your cheek and gum and enjoy the refreshing taste, wherever you are. I like the wintergreen. My buddy goes for mint. So when you can't smoke, you can still make out like a bandit with Skull Bandits. The little pouch of tobacco pleasure.
Back at the Bristol International Speedway, again, we're on the caution flag. There's a few sprinkles of rain out. Tim Richmond is running third place right now, one lap down to the leader. We tried the two-way radio communication with him earlier. It didn't work. In the caution, we've tried it. We've been able to talk to him. Let's go now and talk to him. Tim Richmond, this is Benny Parsons up in the tower. Do you read us?
Yes, sir, Benny, go ahead.
Tim, how is the racetrack? Is it wet or is it dry?
Right now, Benny, I believe it could be dry enough that we could go back to racing, I think. I'm not real sure. It's raining over at turn 3, it looks like, and it's okay down here in 1 and 2, but better safe than sorry at this place.
But there definitely is rain on the race in turn 3 right now.
Roger.
It seems like you and Darrell Waltrip have gotten together a couple of times in the last few laps, just racing.
Well, that last time we came up on Neil a little too hot there, and the car hit the apron and it shot it back up, and Darrell was on the outside, and I couldn't keep it down out of it. But yeah, we're racing. I got to get this lap back. I got to try to keep Earnhardt from winning this thing. You know what I mean?
Know exactly what you mean. Good luck, Tim.
Thank you very much.
Jack Carruth is with one of the best crew chiefs, really, in Grand National Stock Car Racing, Tim Brewer.
And his car is currently running second with Neil Bonnet aboard. And we've talked a lot about Darrell Waltrip and his chances for the championship. But, Tim, have you counted your chances out yet?
Well, they're still running races, and they're still dropping green flags, and we're still shooting at them.
How about tonight? There have been a couple of close calls with the car. That one time when it was very loose and you guys weren't quite sure what it was. Did you ever figure out what was causing him to drop back, Neil, that is?
Tell you what, Jack, believe it or not, the car was really pushing that bad. I mean, it took off towards the wall when he hit the gas. He had to just snatch the car to get the car to cut. But since then, we took out several rounds of wedge and changed the tire, configuration to staggered. So it's pretty good right now. We got a chance to run at Earnhardt just a minute ago, and he's a little loose getting in, just like we are right now. So if we can get up under him, get down in the corner, maybe we can beat him up off the corner and, get our lap back.
Is that the strategy on the drop of the green flag on a restart here, to maybe take a stab, get out front, come up through the gearbox a little quicker, and then hold on and hope for another caution?
Well, I'll tell you, I couldn't hear you because Neil was talking, Jack, but a while ago, when it slacked up raining, Earnhardt says, come on, let's race. Bonnet says, well, it don't matter to me. So I guess those guys, they're ready to go racing.
Well, that's the story from here. Neil Bonnet and Tim Brewer are ready.
Well, NASCAR is now saying that perhaps the track is drying out rapidly enough to restart this race. They are saying unofficially and temporarily 3 more laps under yellow, and then we will go back to green flag racing.
A car that goes fast should be designed to stop fast. These are 5 of the fastest exotic cars in the world. Which car is fastest from 0 to 60 and back to 0 again? Chevrolet Corvette. It won the test in a remarkable 8.9 seconds. From 0 to 0, Corvette is faster. And that's what it takes to be a new world-class champion. Drive today's Chevy. Live today's Chevy.
It hugs the road with bulldog tenacity. It's warranted for 30,000 miles, yet it costs under $30. This impressive automotive accomplishment isn't in the car. It's on the car. The Sears Guardsman Radio. 2 steel belts and a 30,000-mile warranty for less than $30.
There's more for your life
Confidence installed.
at Sears.
Strength, pride, tradition. For centuries, the Clydesdales have been known as a special breed. Today, the Clydesdales symbolize Budweiser's dedication to quality, superior ingredients, exclusive beechwood aging, and a distinctively clean, crisp taste only Budweiser can offer. Quality taste, because this Bud's for you.
This is the skid pad, the ultimate test in adhesion, where car and tire get pushed to the limit, where for the first time, a street tire on a standard production car achieved 0.95 G. The Goodyear Eagle VR50, engineered for cars with the proper qualifications.
The exciting kart PPG series continues next Sunday at 8 p.m. here on ESPN. That tremendous points battle between Mario Andretti, Emerson Fittipaldi, or Fittipaldi as we Americans know him, and the Unsers. 4 of them in it for the points championship, the points battle. It's very dramatic. This, of course, is a road course. Oftentimes it changes a lot of things, and last year it was one of the better exciting road course races on the trail.
You know, I was at an IndyCar road race in Cleveland a couple of years ago, Larry, and that really was an exciting race. Those cars are just absolutely awesome. You know, we're looking at stock cars tonight, and the way the paint jobs and what have you, they look like race cars, and they are race cars. There's very little stock about them, except they are Chevrolets, and they are Fords, and they are Buicks, and Pontiacs. Those cars, those Indy cars, are nothing but pure race cars.
Thoroughbreds. Look at a green flag after a rain delay. 421 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt is the only driver on the lead lap. Neil Bonnet on the inside. He'll try to get back. The only lap that he is behind, and now Bonnet becomes the second car on the lead lap. We just talked to Tim Richmond. He's looking at getting underneath Earnhardt, but Earnhardt says no way.
Boy, he did. He closed the door on Richmond in turn 3. Richmond had some ideas, and Earnhardt just simply shut the door. He didn't close it. He shut the door, Larry.
Earnhardt slides into turn number 2. He turns the wick up on Neil Bonnet. He knows that Bonnet now becomes the only other threat, at least temporarily, on the racetrack. And Earnhardt is going after the Hueytown man.
Yes, he is. He's going after him strong. But Tim Brewer's right. Dale Earnhardt is a little bit loose right now. The car just slipping and sliding a little bit more than it should.
He may be slipping and sliding, but right now he looks like he's... And he touches Neil.
Knocks him up out of the way. Gets alongside of him.
Together. And Neil and Tim Richmond come together. So Neil Bonnet has a real rock'em sock'em corner.
And here comes Darrell Waltrip. Wow.
Now everybody right behind Dale runs for position. They're together on the racetrack, and they are all 1 lap down, and now Kyle is underneath Neil. Neil Bonnet is having a tough time.
Boy, they're just trying to knock the poor boy out of the way. He's having a tough time.
He's got to be wondering, is this something I said? Okay, Richmond runs in second place, 1 lap down. Waltrip is third, 1 lap down. Now, here's a look again at Dale Earnhardt getting underneath Neil. He bangs him going into the corner.
He bangs him going in the corner. Neil Bonnet has nothing to do except go up the racetrack. And when he does that, Earnhardt drives underneath him. Bonnet tries to get down to the bottom of the racetrack. Earnhardt is there. They collide. He's still trying to get back. Richmond comes along. They collide. And back up the racetrack he goes. And a lap later, Kyle Petty did the same thing.
Everybody may be a lap down, Benny, but I'll tell you, every one of these guys are treating each lap like it's the last one. Earnhardt is not setting back at all. He wanted to get back out in front. He wanted to maintain the advantage. He's not only trying to beat these guys, but trying to screw them down deeply into the ground.
Well, he's trying to dominate, just like Bill Elliott has been dominating these fellas. But look, Tim Richmond is hanging in there. He's not going anyplace. He's a couple of car lengths back and hanging real tough.
know, I was thinking during that rain delay, it was almost like deja vu. 2 years ago in 1983, a race here was stopped after 419 laps because of rain. Earnhardt and Waltrip went at it for that one, and Waltrip beat Earnhardt out of the pits late in the race and won it.
That's exactly right. Darrell had the better car that night, and I had forgotten about that, but you're right. Earnhardt won the race in a rain delay.
Kyle Petty gets out of control coming off of turn number 4, touches the outside wall. Apparently back up to speed. He moves up on the banking in turn 1 and 2. There is the leader, Earnhardt, second place car. Remember, 1 lap down, Richmond. And Richmond now beginning to show that he has aspirations about getting that lap back. We mentioned about Kyle touching the wall coming out of turn number 4. I think we're going to be able to show it to you.
Trouble up in turn 2. Bobby Allison goes around.
Comes down, almost runs into Rusty Wallace. Kyle Petty is sideways on the racetrack. Harry Gant was in the smoke, but nobody was involved. But Bobby Allison makes severe contact with the outside retaining wall. You can see the rear of the race car. And Kyle, who had a breathtaking moment about 2 laps ago, has another one coming out of turn number 2. Bobby Allison, after a strong performance tonight, Bobby, who qualified only 16th fastest, he was the fastest of the drivers who didn't make top 15 the first night. He moved all the way up from deep in the pack to 3rd or 4th tonight, but it ended prematurely.
Yes, we saw the right rear tire turning just a moment ago. Bobby Allison was trying to get going. The frame has bent so badly on that car that the right rear tire is off the ground.
Bobby was running in 7th position, 2 laps down, but all the leaders take a chance to come in, including Earnhardt. I think he's putting a lot at risk. He's giving everybody a chance to make their lap up. Waltrip and Richmond are getting out in front of Earnhardt.
Everybody
He's giving them their lap back.
Everybody gets out in front of him.
This is an entirely new race. Suddenly, like lightning, Dale Earnhardt gets beat out of the pit by at least 2 drivers, and Waltrip and Richmond have a chance. Is Bonnet also in that group?
Yes, Bonnet is right in front of him. Bobby Allison is out of the car. He's talking to him. He's talking to him kind of animated.
Now, Benny, what's the call on this? Now, Earnhardt is the leader of this race. Does that mean that because those 3 guys we just talked about are on the lead lap, that they're going to be waved by the pace car, go around to the back of the pack? What's the call?
No. They're simply, they have a half mile to go to make up.
But they do have a chance now. Waltrip, Richmond, and Bonnet out of the pits before Earnhardt. So it looked like just a couple laps ago before this yellow flag for the Bobby Allison Kyle Petty incident that Earnhardt was going to have clear sailing on this, but it's not to be. There's the tail end of this. On the outside is Bobby, on the inside is Kyle.
Yes, Kyle Petty. Bobby Allison does not make contact with anything on the outside, but he backs off the brakes to get out of the way.
And
Rusty Wallace, and he backs the car in the inside guardrail and really made some serious contact with that inside
High Bank Racetrack. Had that happened at Richmond, he probably would have got away from that unscathed. Here's another angle on what happened, and we pick it up on the end of it. There you see Rusty taking evasive action, and the impact, bang! And you can see that car fold up as Allison hits it at only maybe 40 or 50 miles an hour, but it really takes its toll.
Well, he hit it dead on at 40, 50 miles an hour, and that wall wasn't going anywhere.
You know, the wall has been hit so many times in automobile racing, and it wins every single time. 436 laps are now complete, so the end of this race is coming none too fast for Dale Earnhardt. He's been dominant, but can he hold on?
Racing. From the inside, no one covers it like Auto Week. Auto Week makes you an insider at the world's great race circuits every week. In the pits, behind the scenes, even in the cockpit with racing driver columnists in Formula One, NASCAR, and kart. Inside coverage just days after the race. And Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars, right behind the wheel. Auto Week takes you inside the whole automotive scene. Personalities, great cars of the past, columnists with inside scuttlebutt. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too. Call for a special 30-week trial subscription to Auto Week. 30 issues at the basic price of just $13.20, just 44 cents an issue. Call 1-800-554-2828 and save $24 over the newsstand price. Call right now, 1-800-554-2828. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too.
Back at the Bristol, Tennessee International Raceway, where we have been slowed for an incident involving that car, Bobby Ellison's number 22 car. You can see he made hard contact with a wall on the rear end of the race car. You know, we told you earlier that Richard Petty and Buddy Baker are the only two drivers in tonight's race that ran in the first race 50 races ago here at Bristol, but there are some interesting names who were also involved in that, Benny, and this will bring back some memories. Jack Smith was the winner. Ned Jarrett raced in that one. How about Sherman Hudson, Tiny Lunn, Junior Johnson as a driver, of course, Rex White, Marvin Porter from California, Dave, not David Pearson in those days, just Dave Pearson, Buck Baker, and Cotton Owens. It rings your chimes a little bit, doesn't it?
Sure does. Yeah, there was a couple Etzmans in that race. There was...
I think you're right. I think there may have been as many as 3. Well, Jack is with the man that brought about this caution flag, Bobby Allison.
Bobby, very simply, what happened?
Well, I don't know, Jackie. I guess y'all were cut off for a Miller commercial there, and you probably didn't see what happened, but Kyle just spun and got into me and spun me and stuck me in the wall. Just one of those things that really was tough. You know, his daddy was way behind, and his daddy got into him and stuck him in the wall. And then I don't know whether he was having a fit of temper or what happened, but he just run down in there and drove it into the side of me and backed into me and spun me into the wall.
Well, Kyle, we were actually in the replay of the first incident with Kyle when you spun with Kyle. But the question I've got is we saw a picture of you shaking your fist at somebody. Now I've got to assume that it was a young Kyle.
No, I did not.
Okay, that's what they were saying up in the booth.
Well,
it's got to be a tough break because you ran so good, and it really looked like finally Bobby Ellison Racing had one that really going to show that you guys could get it together down in Hueytown.
Well, we still got to have a little racing luck. We got all the way to the lead and then had a flat tire. And, you know, the pits are just terrible wet, and they cleaned them up on the front straightaway, but they didn't bother back here. And so, you know, that was a disadvantage, too. We just were trying to work with all the disadvantages.
How about Darlington, though? Things going to be a little better for you down there, Bob?
Well, I hope so. You know, we worked hard. The whole crew, Wayne Bumgardner and Pat Broyles and Bobby Sutton and my 2 sons, Davey and Clifford, and Reds and Mike, and, you know, all the guys that have come with us, Grady. Everybody's worked hard, and we believe the cars have run good, and Ron Neal at Prototype did this engine for me. So, you know, I guess it's just time to have a Miller and go to work tomorrow morning.
Well, we're about ready to have some racing back on the start-finish line. Bobby, thanks. Tough luck tonight.
Okay, ready to go back under green flag. Remember, the first 3 cars are now on the lead lap, but they do not run first in this race. A little bit of almost drama, Benny, during that caution flag lap. Earnhardt tried to sneak in front of Bonnet or Richmond or Waltrip or all 3, and they would have nothing to do with it. Richmond actually at one point scooted ahead of the leader, Darrell Waltrip, but he was not so much trying to get at Waltrip as he was Dale Earnhardt.
Right now, those 3 cars, they're all in front of Dale Earnhardt with a caution to come out. Right now, they would make the lap up and have an opportunity to win the race, not finish 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Now, Benny, if this were a big racetrack, they'd hook up and try and draft and get away from Dale. But what do you think? Will they stay in line, still run 1, 2, 3 and try to pull away from Dale, or are they going to start jousting among themselves?
They're going to start jousting among themselves. If Tim Richmond can get by Darrell Waltrip, he's going to do that because that is for a spot. That's for possibly for 2nd place in this race.
Okay, Darrell Waltrip runs 2nd in the race. Tim Richmond runs 3rd in the race. Neil Bonnet runs 4th. The leader is Dale Earnhardt. He is about a half a mile, and there's a spin in turn 2. 3, 4 cars involved. Kyle Petty again. Looks like the number 90 car of Kenny Schrader. Clark Dwyer. And here's the caution flag. We have a brand new race. 4 cars now on the lead lap, and they are going to be nose to tail.
Oh, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. But Earnhardt's car was not working that time. You know, they pitted. Look, Earnhardt's not keeping up.
Well, of course,
I don't know if he has a problem or what it is, but he's not keeping up.
He's coming in. I think he doesn't like the tires he just got, Benny, so he's going to pit. Now, he has pitted. Waltrip has pitted. Richmond has pitted. Richmond is out of the pits. Now, Waltrip has got to get out before Earnhardt to save that lap. What's going on?
Richmond didn't stop. He came in the pits, but did not stop. I don't know what the forward story is.
Well, Richmond continues on the racetrack. Earnhardt is in the pits. Here comes Richmond around. Is Richmond passing now the number 3 car, the 12 car of Neil Bonnet pit? Richmond, I believe, must have taken the lead, Benny. I think that Tim Richmond is the new leader. Now, Bonnet is pitted. He'll have an opportunity to move right up behind Earnhardt and Richmond. But what a change of events. A big headache for scoring.
Tim Richmond went down pit road. He had to go down pit road, and he's made up a lap.
Well, maybe we can find out some more details on this, Benny. See if you can raise Tim on the radio.
Well, they're black flagging somebody.
Looks like Eddie Burschwell is coming out for it. Does not affect the leaders.
Tim Richmond, this is Benny Parsons up in ESPN. Do you read?
Roger, Benny, go ahead.
How, did you go down pit road, or how did you get such a lead?
We went to pit. We seen Darrell going ahead pit. And just as I started turning on pit road, my guys, Barry Dawson, told me to stay up, and we were already committed, so we just went on by the pits.
10-4. Did you make up a lap on the field then?
Benny, say that again, please.
Did you make up a lap on the 3 car, or are you just in the lead right now?
No, we are, I think, right now, running second behind Darrell. All 3, the 2, the 11, 12, and the 27, I think we all made up a lap.
Okay, Tim, we're going to try to get this thing sorted out. We'll get back with you.
Roger.
Well, Benny, I can't second-guess scoring because that's not my primary job right now, but I would kind of agree. I think Richmond has the lead.
Well, I tell you what, here's what caused the caution flag. Kyle Petty in the 7-11 car.
He goes into turn number 1. Remember, he just came out of an incident a couple laps ago. Left rear. Something breaks in
the left rear. He spins the car right in front of Kenny Schrader, and Kenny has no place to go except in the outside guardrail and against Kyle Petty.
Goes Dave Marcus going by. The number 49 car of Dwyer has also, or rather Trevor Boy spins and gets bumped. Phil is back out on the racetrack after a very long night in the pits. He just evaded that situation.
I tell you what happened a moment ago. When the caution came out, here, Jackie Root maybe can clear this up. Jackie?
We're down here. We caught up with Barry Dotson, the crew chief on Tim Richmond's car. He's being consulted with by the NASCAR officials right when we were getting ready to talk to him. As soon as they're done with their conference, we're going to ask him if maybe that miscue put them on a lap by themselves or in the lead, actually. Barry, are you in the lead? Is that what they're telling you in NASCAR?
Yeah, we didn't really want to pit. We were going to get left side tires. We weren't really ready to get them. We'd get them the next stop. He had to come down pit road. It was too wet. So we went on through. See what happened.
So it looks like you need to talk to Tim right away. Is that what you need to break away here?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to let him go. But maybe that miscue might have been a benefit for them. But now I think they're going to bring him in.
Well, they've got to bring him in. I think what has happened is I think that when the caution came out that the 11, 12, and 27, I think the 12 and 27 did not catch up with the field. The 12 did, but the 27 did not catch up with the field. He tried to come in too soon, and they said, no, you can't pit now, you got to catch up with the field. He went down pit road and did catch up with the field. But he has not pitted, so he is, in fact, the leader of the race right now.
Benny, I think this is how it shakes down. I'm pretty sure about this, and this is what we're getting right now from NASCAR scoring, is that the leader is Richmond. Earnhardt is right there running in second. Bonnet is just 2 cars behind. He runs in third. They have caught up from front bumper to rear bumper. They are 1, 2, 3 on the racetrack. Darrell Waltrip is 4th on the lead lap, but he is all the way around and behind.
Yes, I was going to say, I think Darrell Waltrip pitted too soon. I think he did not go around and catch up with the field, came into pits too soon, and was lapped by the pace car. Here's Jackie Root.
Benny, when you were talking about that, we've seen that happen, especially on short tracks. Remember, if you pit too soon before they dispense the pace car, they make that quick lap at not necessarily 17 or 18 seconds.
Jack, let me interrupt. They have stopped Tim Richmond on the front stretch. The black flag apparently came out, and they have halted Tim.
Precisely. That's what I was going to tell you, is by him coming in and shooting what they call a stop and go, he literally got a lap on the field on the scoring book. So they've got to hold him for a lap to put him back. But by my calculations, he would still then be on the lead lap, but he would not be the leader of the race.
Exactly right, Jackie. He was a lap ahead of the field.
That's right.
On that caution flag, he ended up from almost a lap down to a lap ahead of the field. Now, when they let him go by at the rear of this field, the rear of this cars, he will be in the lead lap in third spot.
By George, I think you've got it.
Okay.
And that also means that Bonnet really gets out of this thing in flying colors. He's only 2 car lengths behind Earnhardt, but 2 car lengths out of first place.
Out of first place. That's exactly right. Darrell is the fellow who I don't understand why he pitted so soon.
Well, we think we've got this all sorted out. About 50 laps to go. Officially, 452 laps have been completed. Remember, this is a 500-lap race. This is going to be a shootout yet.
Hi, this is Jerry Lewis for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And these are some of my kids visiting the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales. This year, once again, Anheuser-Busch is pledging over $2 million to muscular dystrophy. So look for these displays wherever you buy Bud and Bud Light. It's your chance to join the fight against muscular dystrophy. And thank you from all of my kids.
The best college football on television is on ESPN starting Saturday, August 31st when Purdue meets Pittsburgh. Outstanding quarterbacks are a Boilermaker tradition, and Jim Everett is no exception. But the Panthers pride themselves on their defense. Live Saturday night, CFA football is back, only on ESPN.
Sunday, ESPN has the final match of the Executone Hamlet Challenge Cup live. It's some of the best men's tennis you'll see. Live Sunday.
Still trying to sort out the confusion that I think will be only temporary after this yellow flag for an incident involving Kyle Petty. And Jack Arute has yet another update. Jack?
Well, things continue to get a little confused down here. Jeff, I'm not sure if either of us understand it, but you and Junior are petitioning NASCAR because you say maybe you're in the wrong spot.
Well, Jackie, what happened was we were out in front of the leaders. The caution comes out. We took the caution flag, so did the leader. We go around, we come down pit road and everything, and we beat, they should have picked up the wrong guy coming out as far as the caution car is concerned. They should have picked up Earnhardt because of the way the field was set up, and we should be behind him. We should have gone around. They've messed up as far as the caution car right now, and that's what we're seeing.
Okay, what are your options, though? You've just got to take your bitter pill and swallow it, don't you?
No, we're hoping that they'll get this thing squared away. We'll go back, go around the pace car and get behind Earnhardt, and that would be right.
Well, we'll keep you apprised of how it's going down here, but it's even beginning to confuse me.
Okay, well, Jeff is the crew chief, along with Junior, of course, who makes a lot of the decisions for that man right there, Darrell Waltrip.
I think I'm a little confused myself. I thought, and I still think, that Darrell Waltrip pitted too soon. And he came in with Earnhardt, which was too soon. And simply, he is in the right spot, only he made the mistake. They made the mistake and pitted too soon, is what I think.
Simply stated, Darrell, it appeared to us visually, just kept pace with Dale. In other words, he pitted, Dale pitted right behind him, so they are in the same relative positions during this caution flag as they were during the last green.
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad it's not my decision to make. NASCAR is working on this very hard right now, and a lot of discussions going up and down pit road. Meanwhile, the laps click off slowly. 455 down and about 45 to go.
Look how water can destroy unprotected wood, but not if it's protected with Thompson's Water Seal. Use Thompson's Water Seal waterproofer on dozens of surfaces. Brush on Thompson's for an invisible barrier that helps prevent water from entering and damaging brick, wood, and concrete. Your house isn't really protected until it's protected with Thompson's Water Seal. Many stores now have special values on Thompson's Water Seal.
97% of Grand National drivers use STP filters. Get the protection the pros use. STP.
The best college football on television is on ESPN starting Saturday, August 31st when Purdue meets Pittsburgh. Outstanding quarterbacks are a Boilermaker tradition, and Jim Everett is no exception. But the Panthers pride themselves on their defense. Live Saturday night, CFA football is back, only on ESPN.
Still under caution here at the Bristol International Raceway. This is Larry Newber, and joining me, as he has so many times the last couple of years, former Grand National champion Benny Parsons, and as always, Jack Arute down in the pits. We've been slowed because of a minor incident. There have been just a slew of caution flags tonight. I think we may have set a brand new track record. We are now up to 13 caution flags, and yes, that breaks the track record for the all-time greatest number of caution flags in a race here at Bristol. It was set Matter of fact, just the spring when we got 12 of them down. Now, what we do know at this point is that Dale Earnhardt is the leader. Don't we, Benny?
Well, I don't know. They just have moved Tim Richmond in front of Dale Earnhardt and behind Darrell Waltrip. I don't know. I think that they're saying that he is in the tail end of the lead lap.
Tail end of the lead lap. That's what I think. Now, Richmond is darting down to the inside. He's pulling up alongside of the pace car. Now he's going to go around the track. He has been radioed that he is allowed to go back to the tail of the field. Now, we believe, and this is unofficial, that means that Tim is being put at the tail of the lead lap. But it does put him at the tail of the lead lap and about probably 10 cars behind the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
But on the restart, he will be able, since he is in the lead lap, he'll be able to move close up right behind the 12 car of Neil Bonnet.
Now, trying to summarize this call for you again, what happened? Tim Richmond ducked through the pits during the last caution flag without catching up with the pace car first, and in effect, because he never stopped, he gained a whole lap on the rest of the field. But by ducking into the pits before being picked up by the pace car, that was illegal. He got a stop-and-go penalty, so he ends up not a lap ahead of the field, but at the tail of the lead lap, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Beats me. I thought I knew something about this sport, but evidently I... Well, you know, it happens so fast. NASCAR thinks they have it right because...
I think we're getting ready to go here.
They're giving him one lap to get him one lap to go.
And Richmond has been placed in front of Dale Earnhardt now. Are they saying he is the leader now? Now we are back to where we were about 5 or 6 caution flag laps ago, and they're saying Richmond is the leader with Earnhardt second. Right behind him, Bonnet in third, and Darrell Waltrip at the head of the pack, the distance of 1 lap behind, but on the lead lap.
Okay, if that's what they say, that's what we will do.
458 laps have been completed, and this race has an entirely different complexion. Remember, Tim Richmond did not pit. He has, let's call them old tires. Everybody else has new.
Yes, we're going to see exactly what happens right there.
Green flag, needless to say. Richmond leads this race like lightning. Dale Earnhardt bottoms out with a full load of fuel going around turn number 2. Bonnet is third. Ricky Rudd is underneath them in that white bottom, red top car. And Richmond, despite not having new tires, is pulling away, at least for the time being.
Earnhardt, the last time, did not handle very well. And again, he is not handling right now like he was earlier in the race. I don't know if in a few laps the car is going to come back or not, but he is just not handling. As a matter of fact, Bonnet is alongside him going in turn 1.
And we are getting to the point in this race where it's going to be incredibly dramatic, like Quicksilver. It happens very quickly. Only 40 laps to go.
And Bonnet is right on the back bumper of Earnhardt. The dominance that Earnhardt has shown all night, it just simply went away, and I can't explain why.
Oh, Schrader slows. We didn't, I know, see that, but it was very dramatic. Schrader slowed down suddenly right in front of Waltrip. Now they are second and third place, according to NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt, Neil Bonnet. That's Bill Elliott right behind, but Elliott is at least 1 lap down. 1 lap down in 5th position, as a matter of fact.
Now it looks like that Earnhardt, whatever his problem was, has went away, and he's just simply driving away from. But look, the 27 car is right on the back bumper of Waltrip, and Earnhardt, here he comes.
Now the leader of this race, at least officially, unofficially at this point, remember, is Tim Richmond. Richmond leads this race. He's trying to get around Darrell Waltrip. Waltrip is on the same lap with him and Dale Earnhardt, but he's the distance of the racetrack behind. Waltrip runs in 4th place right now. Richmond leads this race. 464 laps are down.
I don't know what could have possibly happened to Earnhardt just those first few laps, but he looked like the car just did not handle. And Bonnet, something looks like has happened to his car because Bill Elliott's on the outside of Neil Bonnet to challenge for that spot.
Tim Richmond driving for a team that really had outside hopes at the beginning of this year of maybe challenging for the championship. Certainly they thought they would win 2, 3, maybe 4 times this year. They have not won yet in 1985. They won once in 1984. Richmond desperately wants to win. Maybe in that category, Richmond is more desperate than Dale Earnhardt, who's already won twice this year.
And there's only 33 laps to go. 33, so Richmond is looking good right now. Earnhardt is going to have to get the thing going if he's to win. And let's don't forget about Darrell Waltrip. He's staying in front of these two cars, so that means he has a good race car. If the caution were to come out one more time, he now can go back, hopefully get on the tail end of the lead lap.
One of the appeals of racing, you just never know. And to quote Yogi Bear, I've said it before, but it's really true. It's never over till it's over. This is like deja vu, Benny. We were talking earlier about that race at Richmond, where Ricky Rudd dominated. Richmond lollygagged in 5th, 6th, or 7th position late in the race. A late pit stop. They got a perfect set of tires, and he went away and won the race easily.
That was at North Wilkesboro a couple of years ago, right?
Darrell Waltrip continues to orbit around the high banks on the same lap with the leaders. They can't get around him. Waltrip is in 4th position. There are the leaders. Tim Richmond, car number 27. Dale Earnhardt in car number 23.
And Earnhardt is, I don't know, I want to say he's closing, but yet there still is a gap there. And until he gets on the back bumper of the 27 car, Tim Richmond, I am not going to say too much.
Tim Richmond started the race today in 2nd position. He timed in at 113.3 miles per hour. His best finish so far in 1985 has been a 3rd at the Darlington 500 back in the early part of the season. That was the 6th race of the year. He's had a 4th at Michigan, and he's had about 3 or 4 other top 10 finishes. Now we'll see just how well Tim Richmond is doing. That 113 mile per hour qualifying speed, by the way, is about 17 seconds flat. Let's see how close he is to that. Now you expect to slow down, certainly during the running of the race. Benny, what would you expect to see if he's out front running easily?
Well, I would think that around 18 seconds flat would be a good lap. Maybe even in the 17s with the tires as fresh as they are right now.
Remember that Richmond does not have fresh tires. Earnhardt does, but you called it. You said 18 seconds, and that's just about right. 17.9 seconds, an average speed of 107 miles an hour, about what we expect. You predicted it at this stage of the race.
25 laps to go. Earnhardt's, again, I want to say gaining, but yet he's not on the back bumper yet.
Boy, it's got to be frustrating to be so close to see the back tires, the back bumper, see that red old Milwaukee car, and sit back there, drive your heart out, anticipate one slight mistake that would give you the edge to move in, and watch Richmond just click off the laps, turn after turn after turn, not making a major mistake, and no matter how much you keep your momentum up, you just can't get over the top of the hill. Just not enough to catch up.
Just not enough. As you know, you keep thinking that Earnhardt's going to pass him, but he's got to catch him first. And he hasn't been able to do that.
Tim Richmond has never won at this racetrack. Dale Earnhardt, when he won that race earlier this year, was only the first time, make that the 3rd time he has won at Bristol. Earnhardt's 6 times finished in the top 10, 6 times finished in the top 5, 10 times in the top 10. Earnhardt is the 4th ranking driver of all time at this racetrack. And he's moved in a little bit, Benny.
Yes, he's a half a car length behind right now. I think he's caught him. I want to call him he's caught. I want to call him caught right now. Now then, can he get by? That's the next thing.
He's coming on like a house of fire now. The last couple laps, he's touched him.
Yes.
As if Tim didn't know he was there.
20 laps to go. Only 20 laps to go.
And again, we repeat, only 20 because things just flash by here at the Bristol International Raceway. 20 laps is like 2 laps on a major racetrack.
Yes. Well, that's right. At Charlotte, they run a lap of 36 seconds. Here, they run a lap in 18 seconds.
A study in driving techniques. Let's concentrate now as Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt. It's between the two of them. Nobody else is in it for the win. Less than 20 laps to go. Richmond has to think, has to hit every lap perfect. You see how close Earnhardt is. He smokes the tires going in, right on Tim Richmond's tail.
What Tim Richmond's got to do right now, he just simply, Earnhardt touched him and he went up the hill. They get together. Richmond almost spins the car coming off turn.
Dale Earnhardt, strong arm tactics on Tim Richmond, moved underneath. As the two touch, they just bowl together coming around turn 3 and 4, and the one top customer absolutely lives up to his name.
Yes. He just touched him going in the turn, and Richmond went up the racetrack just enough that Earnhardt moved underneath him, and right by him he went.
Now, Richmond's big chance is lap traffic. That will become a factor during the next 15 laps. They are approaching Ronnie Thomas, although Earnhardt has about a 3, 4, 5 car length advantage over Richmond. He goes to the high side of Thomas. There you see him going around Dave Marcus in the blue number 71. To the high side of Kyle Petty. He gets through that small group of people without losing too much ground. Richmond, as you can see, made up maybe a car length.
Well, that's right, because Earnhardt had to pass Kyle up high. Richmond got still on the bottom of the racetrack, and look, Richmond's right on his back bumper.
Benny, what do you think will happen if Tim Richmond gets close enough now? Will he try to use the same strong-arm tactics on Earnhardt as Earnhardt used on him?
If he can get there, but I don't know if he can catch him or not.
Remember that Neil Bonnet is third in this race. He's a straightaway behind, so while this is going on, Bonnet maybe has an outside chance.
He does have an outside chance because, you know, these two guys, both of them want to win as badly as anyone on the racetrack. And to what extreme will they go to win? We'll find out. 13 laps to go. 12 and a half, actually.
Dale Earnhardt, the Wrangler jeans, number 3. Tim Richmond, the old Milwaukee Pontiac, number 27. There is Darrell Waltrip, who's on the lead lap, running ahead of Earnhardt and Richmond. You can see it's only by about 1 football field. Not enough to challenge for the lead, not enough to challenge for the win. It's 4th place. The way Dale's car has been performing right after caution flags, that's another thing that Earnhardt does not want. It seems like he has a tremendous disadvantage when the green flag falls after a caution.
There's Darrell Waltrip. There's the 11 car. He is gaining on Earnhardt and on the 27 car of Tim Richmond, but
490 laps complete. Birchwald stays out there. Elliott is still on the racetrack. Thomas we talked about. Ricky Rudd, Harry Gant, Ronnie Bouchard is still out. Dave Marcus, Clark Dwyer, Richard Petty, Buddy Baker, Trevor Boyce, Bill Parsons is back. Jeff Bodine in relief of Lake Speed. Joe Rutten is back to the racetrack. Rusty Wallace has survived to this point. Buddy Arrington and Darrell Waltrip, and of course, those two guys. 492 laps are now complete. 8 laps to go. Richmond is beginning to let it all hang out. He played roughhouse going around the outside of Buddy Arrington that time, trying to get maybe just a little bit more boost from what draft there is on a half-mile racetrack. But Earnhardt is not letting go.
No. Richmond actually got a tough break on the outside of Buddy Arrington a while ago. He lost another car length, and right now he needs to gain car lengths, not lose them.
Coming out of turn number 2 that time, Earnhardt showed some smoke from the right rear tire. I can see the car is pointing a little bit to the inside as he comes out of turn number 4. Earnhardt, I guarantee, is driving for all he is worth, and Richmond can see it better than anybody at the racetrack. 494 laps. It's like sand slipping through an hourglass. Smaller amount with each passing moment, with each passing lap. Time continues to run out for Tim Richmond. 5 laps to go. Can he do it? They are moving it a little bit on Darrell Waltrip. If they catch Waltrip, it will really be a mess.
Richmond got the car a little bit sideways coming off turn 2. He is pushing that car for every inch that it's worth. Oh, he gets it sideways off turn 4. He's trying so hard to catch Earnhardt.
Richmond is on the radio, as is Dale Earnhardt to their crew. They're telling him exactly where they are. Both drivers know that this time by we complete lap number 497. On balance, if you had to pick somebody on the basis of merit in this race so far, Earnhardt deserves to win. But Richmond has really come on strong in the last quarter of this race.
Yes, he has, and I just can't believe how hard he's driving. But he's driving too hard right now. He's losing ground.
He really is. Now, all of a sudden, it's almost a comfortable lead for Dale Earnhardt. 498 grains of sand go through the hourglass. Just 2 more to go, and Earnhardt looks like he may have a walk in the park, as much as you can have a walk in the park at Bristol for the last lap and a half. White flag will be coming up this time around. Harold Kinder points at Dale Earnhardt, waves the white flag. Earnhardt acknowledges. He goes into turn number 1. He is following Darrell Waltrip. Dave Marcus is between Dale Earnhardt and Tim Richmond. Through turn number 3, turn number 4. Here comes Dale Earnhardt. He will sweep both races at the Bristol International Speedway in 1985. Dale Earnhardt. And here comes Bill Elliott with a 5th place finish, and that should be good enough to really cement a hold on the points lead.
Well, Darrell Waltrip finished 4th, so he gained 5 points on Bill Elliott tonight.